laugh.
Ring, ring, ring. Hello, simps and virgins.
Good job.
And welcome back to Krown's magical, sexy, and seductive magic internet money
Land
game.
it. Oh, shit.
Game.
What the fuck? Get the hell out of here. It's no girls allowed in this goddamn cave. It's Bear Jesus time. And we got plenty to talk about today, of course, with good old Bitcoin, as Bitcoin does hit the bottom side target from yesterday's shorts video. I don't know if people caught that, but there was two shorts videos, the one from the day prior and then yesterday's as well. But apparently they don't get sent out at like the proper time, or at least it doesn't get sent out to everyone at the proper time. So they come like a few hours later, or maybe even half a day later, and then it makes absolutely fucking no sense, or the move's already happened. Anyways, that's what we were looking for. And well, now Bitcoin is in a very precarious place. However, there is one thing that I do want to really be focusing on today, and that is the general sentiment within this market. And if you've been around the good old YouTube sphere, you probably noticed the same things that I have, and Twitter as well. A lot of people calling a full-on bear. A lot of people calling a move down to not just 30,000 now. It's like 20,000 or 15,000, whatever it might be. It's like the same thing on the upside, right? Everyone wants to outdo each other with great targets. The upside, it goes 100,000, no, 200,000, no, 500,000, no, fuck you, man. 2 bears, 1 million, 5 million, and get the fuck out with all of that red dildo business over here. Well, now it's the same thing on the other side right now. So I do want to draw some attention to that. At the end of the day, I want this channel to be nice and subdued and more or less focused on what's actually fucking in front of us. So with that in mind, I do want to welcome everyone here. I want to wish you a happy and healthy start to this nice little Friday morning over here. I see that there's already 900 people in the house, which is insane. This place is fucking rocking right now, baby. We got 350 likes on this video. I think we are still on an uptrend. We're still on an uptrend, which is good, even though Bitcoin has been more or less quiet, I think, for the general public. But that's not what this community is about. This community is mostly about traders, or at least I imagine that's why most people are here. And well, this is going to be a very fun environment, I expect, over the next week. And today is a big closure for CME on Friday, of course, as well. I'm going to turn off the alerts for right now. I see you, though, King Cosmic. I see you, Frig Diggler. Nice name, by the way. El Ray Leon. Good morning to you. Jeannie, Gohan's mom. David Gross. Mr. Yasik. Mr. Kobus. Hello, sir. Wait, who else do we have? Trying to search for some familiar names here. And I actually see Elsa as a moderator here. Oh, well, whatever. She can do the job. She can do the job just perfectly here. No, Rocky G's here. I see Rocky G. My fucking man. Good morning to you, brother. Good fucking morning to you. And I'm sure that we'll have some more people join on in. It's no problem, man. We love our moderators. And what's up, Dan Alderman? What's up, Mr. Strange? Is that a Chinese or is that a Japanese character? Whatever it is, welcome and good morning to you, sir. Wonky Stonks Enthusiast, good morning to you as well. It's not racist. I'm trying to be respectful towards his language. Kyle McDupes, what's our Kyle McDowns? Sorry, man, not McDupes, but McDonald's. And Bang Average Runner, good morning to everyone out there. And now we officially got 1,000 people right now within the cave. And man, this is a good day for such business. So let's start it off now with Krown Chain application. As always, it can be found in the link in the description below. It's also, by the way, 100% free. And you can, you can grab it at any moment in time that you desire or not. Anyways, we see that the Fear and Green Index is actually at a 29 right now, which did pop up from a 1-point read from yesterday to today. I imagine that this is a bit of a late read, but overall, Bitcoin's still within the fearful zone. Maybe we're not fearful enough, but again, as we've been kind of postulating over the past few weeks here, that whilst Bitcoin has been within the fearful zone, it's not a immediate buy signal. It does offer up a sort of insight into the underlying market dynamics, which can be lined up with a few other things, which we're going to be going over soon enough as well. But most importantly, we can stay fearful for, weeks at a time. I mean, realistically, the summer lows were put in for about 3 months within the fearful zone. So let's go over here and check out the top 10 best coins. We got IOTEX, Celsius, Unis, Unis. That's a fucking weird name to say. Near Protocol, Gala, and then a bunch of stable coins. So not a very good day in the last 24 hours for most of this market, as you can see. And into the market data, how we go, I suspect that this is where all the fun action is going down today, and indeed it is. The global funding rate is still a little bit below parity, or at least what I consider that, but it is technically positive. So on average, people are paying to hold their long positions. It's an extremely minute amount, but overall, this does still align with what we just saw on the Fear and Green Index, in the sense that, hey, Bitcoin very likely, it is still downtrend on pretty much all time frames right now. It is not obviously immediately bullish, but oh fuck. Oh no. Oh no. Oh shit. I think we have a problem, sirs and sirs. I think that we have a problem. And it's right there. It's right. Surely it's just to cover their long margin, right? Whoops. Oh, no audio, my bad. Oh, whoops, I done goofed. Did I done goof on that one? Oh, it's not on. Is it? It is on? It's not on. It is on? Oh my God. Hey, it's on. What the fuck? It should be on right now, yeah. The global exchange net flows, big inflows, 27,500 Bitcoin, as you can see right there. And is it not? Is it actually not on? It should be on. It should be on. Yeah, there you go. Anyways, big exchanges net flows coming in right there, which is not a great sign. I mean, are people using that to cover their long margin? Maybe, probably not. Are they using it to go and buy shitcoins on leverage? Maybe, probably not. Are they putting it on exchanges because maybe they might be interested in selling? Maybe, probably. Anyways, last time we saw this sort of big inflows. Oh, the other mic wasn't on. Okay, my apologies. It should be on. That's bizarre. Anyways, whatever. I guess maybe Bear Jesus is at a slumber party today. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe it's a sign that that Boolah Jesus is watching over us right now. Anyways, we haven't seen exchange net flows this big on the inside since basically August, actually, where Bitcoin did put in its last descent down to the $30,000 level. Or sorry, no. That was right before. Yeah, that was right before the September dump, actually, the September 7th dump, where Bitcoin went from 53 all the way down to $40,000 base and did set in a weekly high or low. So I do want to always focus on the long-term trend because Bitcoin is still within a macro bull market as far as I'm concerned. But that does not mean that Bitcoin can't come down further. And into the third data tab we go as we do focus on the fear and green index over here. Again, we can spend some time within the fearful zone. It is not a immediate buy signal. It just gives an understanding towards the underlying market dynamics of which, you know, probably better to be looking for or a little bit more on the defensive here. Anyways, you can see that this past summer in 2021, we spent about 3 months within that region. And of course, on the last major low at $40,000, Bitcoin spent about 2 weeks within that region. And right now, we've been within this region for consistently ever since basically last week of November. So we're working on about 2 weeks now, fully within the fearful zone, like the great fearful zone in this case. So that is of interest. So let's start off with the chart of the day to reference the title of this video. It needs to be no more complicated than this. I don't want to put any LARP lines on this bullshit or anything like that, but ultimately for CME, we are having a weekly closure today at, I believe, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And, well, as it stands right now, not great. But if Bitcoin does want to dump out, I am looking somewhere down around about $45,000 level. However, in the short-term timeframes, I do want to offer up or at least follow up on yesterday's shorts video that is not an actionable area, at least in my opinion, as long as Bitcoin is, again, above this blue box territory right here, which was our target from the last couple days down to the $47,000 region, now getting its first bouncy bounce off there. But again, bounce, do not confuse that with reversal. Reversal talk is not even relevant as long as Bitcoin's operating on lower highs, and whereas our last lower high, 51,850 on a 4-hour dildo right there. On a closing basis, on a wick basis, it would be about basically $52,000. At that point, yes, I would be looking for at least, at minimum, Bitcoin to give another try back up somewhere around about $54,000. Personally speaking, I do think that Bitcoin would bust on through and do some busting action back up towards actually probably like $59,000 to $60,000. So with all that in mind, I'm going to get rid of this. I don't know why that's relevant. Yeah, that's not. Oh, that's right. I was actually using that chart yesterday for alternative purposes, but not for this right now. Anyways, as far as lower term time frame momentum oscillators go, it ain't fucking great. I'll put it like that. Maybe CME has a bit of a different picture. Let's go check it out right here. And no, it does not actually. It does not indeed. Or hold on, do we have? No, we do not have. So let's go check out momentum oscillators from a stochastic momentum perspective. And what do you know? On the daily right here, Bitcoin will have a chance to cross back onto the upside on CME specifically. So this is specific to CME, not the same on spot price action. And that will actually happen with any sort of a closure today above 49,500. So I would go as far as saying that if you do start to see today close above 49,500 for CME specifically, Bitcoin will very likely have a chance to put in a bit of a bear trap coming into next week. Not today, but very likely next week, barring any sort of massive green dildo today. But I think that that's a little more on the hopium side yet again. Although we are about $1,000 below that pivot. So, is it within striking distance? Yes, but ultimately understand that, pressure is to the downside right now, as it was for the last few days, and realistically the last week or so, or the last week and a half, more intensely so. Anyways, 4-hour Stokes will actually cross the upside with any sort of a closure above 48,350, which Bitcoin on CME is actually just above right now, just barely, just by fucking ballsack hair, but it is there, and we do see the other lower term timeframes, like the 2-hour is already freshly crossing up above 47,576, which is good, so we do see them kind of building upon the lower term timeframes, and hourly is also also up as long as above 48,000 bucks. So I did forget to check out the 12-hour right here. That one will also flip back up above 50,600. So that is not as relevant right now. And I suspect that these numbers are going to be more or less very similar to spot price action, but I've not actually checked. And no, they are not actually. 12-hour is downside angled freshly on spot price action as long as below 48,800. Daily is also, as we did identify, I think this was yesterday or the day prior, still riding this trend line going all the way back from our highs in October 2020, or sorry, not October 2020, but October 20th of 2021. That's what I'm trying to say, connected with the high more recently in 11th to 12th of November. And then once again, hitting it right here. And will officially twist down with any sort of a closure today below 49,200. So we do see that 49,500-ish area kind of show up on both CME and spot price action. If Bitcoin can close above there today, that's going to look a lot better for a short-term reprieve for the BULAs there. Again, I still want to see $52,000 essentially structural high broken before I get, a little more optimistic, but that would be a really, really good first sign for a bit of a bear trap going on. Until then, again, pressure is onto the downside. And if we go to the lower term timeframes on spot price action, they're actually pretty much exactly the same areas as CME. So I don't think that we need to go through this right now. We're not really going to get anything too interesting from that. So ultimately, if I were looking for bear traps, this is kind of the area that I'd be looking for it to come from, but very unlikely to be completed full today. And again, there is no realistic bear trap to be spoken about as long as Bitcoin's below 52,000 bucks. But understand the order of operation above 49.5. Okay, that's a really good sign to start it off for next week. Probably not over the weekend, but next week. And then 52,000 bucks is the big one. That is your gap fill from last Friday CME closure, which Bitcoin already kind of sold off from. So typically speaking, the next test into it very likely does bust on through. But until then, this is still a downtrend. We got the hero pattern. We got the hero of death right there, which is exactly what it sounds like. However, again, in order to confirm it actually as a breakdown with those targets down to about 45,000 or 44,500 to 45,000 bucks, which was what we started off right on over here on CME into this region right here. Need to see an actual closure below that region on new lows. So CME and spot price action are pretty much within the same areas right now. That's going to be below on CME about 47,000 bucks. On spot price action, that is same thing essentially. A little bit lower than that actually. I'd want to see it close just ever so slightly below this region, which is technically speaking 46,500. So with all of that in mind, you can see the setup here going onwards and forwards for the day, but it's going to be a long fucking day, man. And again, make no mistake about it. That would be very much trading against a trend, even in the short-term timeframes right here, which Bitcoin still does have even hidden bearish evidence on the hourly formulating right there. Now, you could argue that move's already played out from 48,750 all the way down to 48 even, which on an hourly, that's almost $1,000 move based off of just one drive. So, that's kind of relevant to be looking at. It has very likely already played out. I'd still be looking for range resolution here and just understand the order of operations. But I really want to take a step back from what I've been seeing across the crypto Twitter and crypto YouTube land with all of these very amazing and high quality titles. Great shit, gets the views, gets everything like that. But I don't see any reason to be calling for major price action below 40,000 bucks or even just calling this a full on bear market. If you're going by the standard definition of a bear market, which is relevant to equities, it just means 20% down from your highs, which Bitcoin obviously, does plenty of times. It's not necessarily a bear market for Bitcoin. For Bitcoin, it's like a 40 to 50% down move. Hey, fair enough. No matter what you call it, 20% is always fucking 20%. I don't really care about these terminologies, and these are like little moot points for people to kind of argue over, which mean very little at the end of the day. It's like, how do you fucking trade the move at the that's what actually matters. That's what pays you, not knowing the proper definition. So shut the fuck up about that, YouTube. Anyway, sorry, I say that with respect. YouTube, you're doing a great fucking job. But hey, look, I see absolutely zero reason at all whatsoever to be very long-term bearish on Bitcoin as long as Bitcoin still has weekly higher lows. This is what I've been saying for for a long time now, ever since Bitcoin essentially got our first higher low over here and our first higher high over here. And for me, that is very important, as it does set in the long-term macro view on Bitcoin that I am bullish. However, doesn't mean that every little, drop down is going to be obviously, the next fucking major low. Obviously, this is a major formation right here and we're dealing with big numbers. And at the end of the day, it's still, is very likely something like this. Or at least that's my first sort of interpretation of this. This chart is still working. Essentially, the LARP lines are going strong. How do you know that this is, a likely formation going on right here? Several reasons, actually. We do see declining volumes from left to right, so that does notify us that this is a consolidation. You can see the same thing on price action over here. We still have higher lows and we still have the same highs. That would be a bullish reaccumulation formation in the making as an ascending triangle. And we do see that volatility has been contracting the whole way through here on a weekly and also, of course, on a monthly. And by the way, anytime that we've seen monthly volatility contract anywhere below 25 percentile, those have been macro lows actually on Bitcoin. Now, of course, we can come a little bit lower than here. That's fine. That's completely fine. Bitcoin come all the way down to, the last weekly low, which is about 42 to 43,000 bucks, and still, maintain trend, but that would probably scare the shit out of most people, probably myself included, so I don't want to remove myself from that equation. But just look at this right here. The last time we saw volatility this low was, of course, June, July of 2020. June, July of 2020 was this action right here, coming off of the old flu dump, right? Where Bitcoin went from 8,500 to, 69,000 just a year and a half later. The time before that we saw this low on volatility was coming off of the January 2019 lows at 3,100 before going to 14,000 bucks about a half year later. Bless you, sir. But don't get cocky. And the time before that was back in 2015 on this macro low before going from about 200 bucks to 20,000 bucks. So these are big areas. These are humongous areas in this case. Doesn't mean that, again, Bitcoin can't come lower. Just don't want to see closing lower lows. Otherwise, that will destroy structure and that will make me full on bearish. However, you'll probably also be cognizant of this as well, in the sense that on the weekly, we actually still have higher highs, obviously. So if Bitcoin does set in a lower low first, I would be looking for bounces somewhere in the mid $30,000 territory. That's when that becomes relevant. And then it's time to be on lower high watch. And that is where I'd actually be very interested in putting on some potential long-term massive shorts. But until then, I don't think that that's very relevant, and I still look at this as one macro reset right here. And that's fine, and that's to be expected. I mean, Bitcoin's just been consolidated, as far as I'm concerned, between about 69,000 or 70,000 bucks and 30,000 bucks for the last almost a year now, and that's fine. I mean, that's completely fine. That's, Bitcoin went like 3x off the prior all-time highs way back on over here in October, or basically starting from April 2020. Bitcoin just went straight to the upside. No real pullbacks. Yes, there was some boring parts along the way. That's fine, but no real pullbacks that you'd be expecting in real markets, but Bitcoin's a special one. So to expect a bit of a consolidation for, a year after going just straight to the upside for, a good amount of time before that, that is fine. That is completely fine for the long term. So I want to be very, 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 very clear about that. Understand the differentials between the lower term timeframes, the medium term timeframes, and the high and the macro timeframes here. As again, all lower term timeframes are, ugly as fuck and very, very bad. But understand where that picture starts to turn around a little bit, and understand where the pain points are. Again, just kind of putting this all into one little package right now. What do I look like right here, or what do I look at right here? On spot price action, I'm looking at a break below about 46,500, or on CME, a break below 47,000 bucks on even a 4-hour closure would do it for me. For getting price action back down somewhere around about 45, maybe even as low as 44,500 before the next sort of bouncy bounce. And of course, on the other side, if Bitcoin does pop back above 49,500 today by closing basis on CME or spot price action, I do look and I do start to really edge up the probabilities of a bear trap in the making. Probably not today, it doesn't get resolved, but maybe early next week is when that come to fruition. So today's a very, very big day, and today is one of those days where I'm actually more intent on watching unless we actually break one of these ranges, which I don't suspect that we will. And of course, 52,000 bucks to the upside, that's where you can start to, at least I would feel comfortable talking about Boolah Jesus again in good spirits. But until then, this is a consolidation at the lows, and typically that leads towards continuation, or at least that's been the name of the game ever since this whole down move right here for the last almost month straight. So do be aware of that. And I think I might be, am I missing anything else? Let's see. I feel like maybe there's some on the 12-hour that perhaps I missed. No, we don't see anything right here. Maybe it's on CME. I mean, 12-hour looks like shit. Like, don't get me wrong. That does not look good. That does not look fucking good right there, but fair enough. Again, what about, maybe it was on this chart on the bi-weekly? No, we kind of already hit what you would expect on the target on that one. Bitcoin does dump out and create lower lows below our last like $43,000 to $44,000 low on a weekly closing basis. Then I'm looking towards mid $30,000 territory, but it's just not actionable until Bitcoin actually does that. And of course, you got to be looking at the rest of the market as well. And it is a good signal that Ethereum is, I mean, it's not necessarily like looking good in the short term, and very likely test back down into this blue box territory, but I don't call it a breakdown until it actually closes successfully below it, which has been the same call for the last like basically month now. It's been doing the same thing essentially. So as long as it's above there, I do look at this as more or less good, and that probably bodes well for the rest of the market. And we see the same thing on Solana as well. So I look at those three as kind of like the strong ones, and those are the ones to be watching here. The rest of the ones within this market, they're probably going to go down a lot if Bitcoin shows any weakness, and they're probably not going to go up as much if Bitcoin shows any strength. So I think it's time for me to get on into the comments, and so I will flip on over here. I see that we already got 2,000 people watching, which is insane. This is way too early for 2,000 people to be awake and in the cave, but you know what? I'm glad that you're here. I massively appreciate the generous likes, of which we have 800 on the video right now, which is insane. Again, it's like, what do you do with this, man? I don't fucking know. So one of my friends yesterday, Mr. Coop, was talking to me about it. He's like, dude, your channel is like at 130,000, and I've been watching this shit since like you started when there's 10 people watching. What do you make of this? I don't fucking know. I don't know, man. It's definitely been the highlight of my life thus far. I'll say that it's added a lot of value to my life. And a lot of meaning as well. It's actually exactly what I look forward to when I wake up in the morning, which is that selfish altruism, man. It gives me that, like that fulfillment, which is amazing, man. Anyways, I'm gonna take a sip of this water and then we'll get into it. We'll start off with Mr. Ramon Orencio. Very beautiful name, very exotic. Ah, there we go. By the way, Elsa's very happy today. The reason being, she bought a bag. That's how you make a girl happy. They just have to buy a bag. It's fucking crazy, man. Anyways, Ramon, welcome to the cave, sir. Oh, you upgraded. Nice. Sweet, man. Oh, I always want to remind you, when you do join the YouTube channel, not on the Krown channel application, that's something completely different, but on the YouTube channel, you do get access to a TA 101 playlist. It's very basic, but I just want to kind of leave it there for the people who actually are, going a little bit of an extra mile to support this channel. Massively appreciate that. Thank you. Anyways, NY Fiero says, can you do Tesla on the daily and weekly and monthly? Sure. Okay. I don't think we've looked at this one for at least a few weeks here, so I'm actually not so sure, but we're going to find out in this picture. And I don't know, man. I haven't looked at this chart in a while, and it still seems to be working here. It is very close to an actual breakdown. Breakdown would be confirmed below about 980 on a daily closure. Very, very close to there. Let's see what the weekly looks like right now. Weekly does look like wants to test a little bit lower. However, the monthly... monthly, I'd still be long-term bullish on, to be fair. Yes, we do have some bearish divergence for me right here, so probably does test somewhere down around your low 900s, maybe upper 800s, something like that. But I'd only look at that as actionable, again, if you do close below the range lows, which is about 990 in this case. Below there, I do look for this one to fulfill the gap somewhere down low 900s, upper 800s, and give a bounce around there. Long-term, I'm actually still going to be bullish on this chart. Just short-term, it's pullback. We do see bearish divergence on the monthly 1, 2, 3 drive, so... If you do get the full move to play it on that, then I guess 700 or 650 targets are going to be relevant at that point. But I'd really want to go one at a time, and I'd be looking for a big bounce in the upper 800s, low 900s, essentially. I really refrain from getting like full on bearish on something like this just yet. Quarterly, which you didn't ask about, but it sounds like you're very consumed with the higher term timeframes, which is probably good on an asset like this. Still long term good, just short-term and consolidation can very easily have a backfill coming into Q1 of 2022, and that's probably going to be at the very minimum a buy for a big bounce. Let me come back to it after that, but hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Tesla, sir. George Michael P says maybe pointless, but EXRD on the 15 and 30 minute. Okay, someone's got to pay rent. We got to pay rent. It's Friday. It's rent time, baby, and I'm putting it all on Radix on KuCoin. We're fucked. We're fucked.
This? Hold on, I have an idea. It's me, Bear Jesus, and your coin is fucked! EXRD, what the hell is this piece of shit? Alright, we have some rent to pay. Bear Jesus, will you give great dose of girth and glory? No! It's back down to the lows, baby! Fuck your XRD! Sorry. Bear Jesus talking about Krown. Bear Jesus, fuck your EXRD.
Apologies about that one. Yeah, pretty ugly here, man. Very bearish as long as you're below 30.5 cents. I know you didn't ask about the daily. You're asking about very low term timeframes here, but the 15 minute is about to populate a drive of phantom divergence. You just rejected the bullish control zone. That's not great. 30 minute, week. This is just a weak altcoin as far as I'm concerned. I can tell you where I'd switch around my opinion on it. For the very short-term timeframes, there is nothing bullish about this thing as long as you're below 26.75. Above there, yes, this one can run, and maybe it's rent payment time yet again. But until then, and again, I'm not trying to make fun of you, sir. Sorry, George Mike P. I'm going a little bit too hard. I apologize. But until then, I'm probably looking for another move back down to about 25 cents. And if Bitcoin breaks down, this thing will get well, it's going to be a part of a boo cake sandwich. Yeah, not great, man. I think best case scenario for this one is that Bitcoin green dildos this way and puts in a bit of a bear trap, but even that's a bit of hopium right here. Very bearish as long as you're below 26.75. Very ugly. Ixihashi, hopefully I'm saying that properly. Please, Lahana link for me. What does that? Is it link? For me, thanks, and thanks, man. Appreciate that. But I'm unclear about which. I'm gonna type in this first word that you put in there, but I'm guessing you're asking about link. I'm guessing you're asking about link because that's the only ticker that I recognize in that message. Let's see. Yeah, link already given it up. We got another lower high right there. Probably gonna give another try towards 18.5, maybe even the full test down to your rising trend line right here at about 17.5. Anywhere around there, I'm looking for a bit of a bouncy bounce, and it's going to depend on Bitcoin. Basically, does Bitcoin essentially put in a nice bounce from its 47,000-ish level or not? If it fails below 47, you're probably going to see this one fail as well. And I guess at that point, it's back down to $15. Jeez, 15 to 15.5 if that would have happened. But I'd give it a chance to bounce here first. Not exactly where it's at right now, but somewhere around this region right here on this rising trend line. And then this one's going to look a lot better as a bear trap and a major low if you can trade just back above this last rejective high at about $23. Bit of hopium right there, but easier to watch Bitcoin in this case as its areas are a little bit more well defined in comparison to Link, but that's kind of what I'd be looking for in comparison to what we see over here on Bitcoin. Again, I do feel like I'm feeding you a little bit of hopium just because that does look like continuation, to be fair. Let's go see it over here. I just want to see where the troll bands are. Some people would say that you're going to get a head fake in this region. It's definitely possible. Doesn't mean that you can't get another test down to $47,000. In fact, that'd even be implied on that as well. Anyways, Suppressive Fire says AVAX short-term, 4-hour, and daily. Sure, man. Let's go check out on this one. $88.50. Sir. All right, we're gonna go over to this chart over here. We're gonna record this one. Here we have Avalanche symbol AVAX versus the dollar. And what do we have? We have yet another rejection at the $95 region. That is our clean and clear criteria for looking at this as as a major low, actually, and getting somewhat bullish on it again, looking for moves back up towards, 109 to 111-ish region. And at that point, this thing's going to look actually pretty good for the long term. Until then, this one is still selling off the 55, which is not a great sign. And short term, we still remain with a downside trend. Now, there is one sort of good thing. I wouldn't say it's a good thing, but at least you don't have hidden bearish divergence on this next 4-hour high right here if it does put in a lower high right there. So if it does continue with trend to the downside, I just look for one more test down, which, yeah, the hourly looks like it does want to do that. I should not be feeding you hopium on this one. This one does look like it wants to test back down around your current low, somewhere around about $84 or so. The same thing as yesterday. I hesitate on getting bullish on this one as long as you're below 96.5. Above 96.5, things start to look a lot better, but short term it is more downside angled for the hourly and realistically the 4-hour as well. I'm just kind of calling out there, at least there's not hidden bearish divergence on this current 4-hour high or the one that's being built in right now. So I would also on the other side say that I refrain from getting like full on bearish on this thing as long as you're above about 79.5. Below 79.5, yes, big problems on a daily closure, and I do look for moves down towards 70 to 65 over time. Should not look good, which would not look good. But let's say that Bitcoin comes down to like 47 and then bounces off of there and then actually puts in the bull trap. Again, this is a hypothetical situation. This has not happened, obviously. But what I can do is I can do the old LARP lines. You see something like this on AVAX, test the low somewhere around low $80, bounce back up, and then take out the highs right here, something like that. That would look really, really good if you just see it back above about $95. Even just to tick above your 7th of December high, that's going to be interpreted as quite good, although it is rather aggressive. We can also go over here and just see what momentum is looking like on this thing from a stochastic perspective, just to see if there's anything that's disagreeing with that. 4-hour stocks will turn back up above 88.25 if you can close above there, which is happening in about an hour and 20 minutes, which it's literally right at right now. could be better. 12 hour is also going to turn back up above 86 bucks. So, still, short term it's looking like a little bit of downside, but I think that it will have a chance. Daily will also freshly cross up with any sort of a daily closure today above 85.40. That would also be a good sign. Well, it's better than crossing down, obviously. But still, the big bad area to be aware of is the same as yesterday and the day prior, 96.5 bucks. Or you could even say 95 on a closing basis. Sorry, I think I got that opposite earlier, but it's 96.5 on a wick basis or 95 on a closing basis above there. This does start to look a lot more like a nice local low right here, and I'd be looking for targets back up towards, the low teens at 110 or so. Somewhere around there would be fair game, and that would bode well for the future. Until then, big problems below about 79.5, so hopefully that was helpful, and there you go for Avalanche, sir. BK says Spell versus Wrapped Ethereum on the 4 hour and daily. Got it. Okay, Spell. This is a new one, I think. Spell token. Great. 4 hour and daily. Well, daily looks like another lower high to me. Hidden bearish divergence right there. Not great, man. Any sort of a closure today, basically here or lower below about 32,700 Beateralls, and I'd be looking for this one to retest 24,500 or so, and probably continues with trend. Should not be great. 4 hour is anemic at best, but where would I switch my opinion around on this one? This one does have a similar sort of setup as other ones in the sense that, you always have to be aware of where is the sort of a reversal or where does the narrative, or not the narrative, but where does the structure change? Back above 46,500, that would be really, really good. Looking for moves all the way back up towards probably like 63,000, which would look really, really good. And this would be your next macro high or low, actually. Yeah, it's not much of a weekly, although it does look, for what it is worth, it doesn't look too great. But for right now, man, not looking too hot right here. If Bitcoin shows any weakness, I'm looking for this thing back down around about 24.5 to 23 even or so, something like that. And yes, momentum oscillators are more on the bearish side here, obviously. Both 12 hour and daily putting in some drives of hidden bearish divergence. So it is kind of turning against you right there. And again, this is not the direction versus US dollar. Ooh, sorry. Apologies on that one. Burping up some Bear Jesus juice. Sorry. Very unprofessional. Yes, we also talked about dildos here too. So there's that. Anyways. Man, I got the weirdest fucking email yesterday. I don't know if I want to go into this story, but it was fucking bizarre. It was fucking... Should I tell this story? Maybe we, God. All right, so I got this email. Okay, so how I've been telling people that there's been some people impersonating me on like Instagram and I think YouTube does it as well, and probably Telegram too, which I don't operate on Telegram. I mean, I have like a personal Telegram ID that I never use pretty much, unless it's like just basically to talk with Jason, because he only uses fucking Telegram and I hate it. But basically there was an altcoin project or some sort of project called maybe I shouldn't even list their name, but I do want to show you the fucking white paper on this shit. It is great. This is like straight out of 2017. It's so good. Anyways, so this project emailed me from their marketing department, and they said, "You are a scammer." And I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" and they sent me a bunch of screenshots, and apparently one of the impersonators of myself has gone on and contacted like a bunch of these fucking highly esteemed altcoin projects, which I'll just show you right here. The sort of marketing department that they have. This is really good. This is really fucking good. And yeah, just read this right here while I go through this story. And I'm like, "Oh, sir, there's probably a misunderstanding here. There's been people impersonating me, and apparently they contacted me." This is actually kind of genius, by the way, for a scammer to do. So they contacted this group to market for them, like by sending out tweets or something, and they paid them like $900 or something to go send out a fucking tweet, which I've never done. I've never fucking done ever for a project. Doesn't matter what it is. I get these offers all the time. Never fucking done it once on this channel. And more importantly, they actually, I guess, fell for it, which, fair enough. That's awful. Obviously, I'm not going to make excuses for this fucking scammer. He's a bad guy. He's also impersonating me, which was like, annoying. But they think now that I am like trying to pull one over on them, trying to play like the other side, being like, "No, I have no idea what you're talking about." It's like, no. Like, seriously, there is someone scamming, using my name to other people, basically doing, I guess, this now. Anyways, then I go to their website just to read through it because they won't believe me. And I'm just like, all right, well, what the fuck's going on here? And I read through this, and this is just so fucking good, man. This is so fucking good. "We promise to build the record by growing Magro Bank coin value from a dog coin price to $100 spark in a couple of years. Okay, that makes no sense. And what the actual fuck? That sounds like a guaranteed return. So SEC, hello. Anyways, it is a decentralized revolutionary cryptocurrency born with the mission to decentralize the entire financial system. Wow, that's rather lofty. And our vision is to make the bank the only global currency where people can buy or purchase everything. Buy or purchase, I don't know what the difference is between those. They want from grocery to property. Okay, that sounds great. To do so, we'll work hard to develop NFTs, games, apps, swap, launchpad, blockchain, exchange. It's like, I think you forgot a buzzword there, sir. Further, we'll convince the government, which one, companies, also which one, and exchanges to accept our coin. Sounds legit, sir. The coin has a total supply of 1,000 trillion. What? That's not a number. From which we will manually burn 900 trillion in 9 months. Wow. So there you go. You know what? Now I am going to do their marketing for them. And it sounds very legit to me. So I'm just going to, I'm all in that. And you can send your fucking BNBs to the rug pull. I mean, the very highly esteemed new one world currency, Magro, or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah, there you go. Hopefully that was helpful. I'm sure I'm going to get another email from them. You are a scammer. It's like, give us back our $900. You're trying to be the bank of the world, sir. And you're mad about $900, which I understand. No one likes getting scammed. I would, honestly, I shouldn't even say that because I wouldn't like it if someone just stole $900 and I was like, oh, it's only $900. Like, fuck you. Yeah, I get that. All right, cool. Let's talk about Paul Garrett now. Thanks to Matic, I was able to quit my job and travel the world. Sweet. Hey, that's awesome, man. This is why I ask about it often. Sweet. I'm still new and take the CMT level 1. Okay, so, awesome, man. So it looks like you're trying to, or you're on the way to becoming a trader. Cool, man. I actually don't know too many people have actually taken that exam, and I've never bothered myself, but fair enough. Anyways, Matic on the daily and weekly. No problem, man. No problem. Matic USD. Trading is one of those things like, and look, I'm not trying to dissuade you from doing what you're doing, but it's like you can have the CMT and show everyone that you passed the exam, or you can also just, show them a P&L. That works quite well. Anyways, Matic on the daily and weekly. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay. So we are actually, yeah. So this was the event driven one from yesterday. This is not so hot anymore, but I would be looking for bounces relatively soon. Anyways, bouncy bounce territory right around about $2. Weekly, same thing. Weekly, I'm actually still going to like long term. You do still have a technical breakout here. I just want to see this one close basically above last week's, basically anywhere here higher by Sunday. But short term, it does look like it wants to play out a little bit of short term hidden bearish, or not hidden, but regular bearish divergence right here between this point and this point on the daily. So targets down to the 21 are going to be relevant at about $2 even. Failure to bounce there will be not good, and implied targets all the way down to 180 if that does fail. But remember, this one was event driven yesterday, so this is why I was very hesitant to be looking at technicals for it to begin with. Usually when you get something that's event driven like this, you rally up into it, which is exactly what we got. We almost hit our 265 target, got up all the way to about 260 even, and then a lot of the time they'll sell off after that. The question is now, do you put in a higher low on this sell off? I mean, technically speaking, it's not super problematic as long as you're above about 185, but short term it is downside angled here, and I wouldn't be looking for any sort of major targets towards $3 plus as long as you're below about 240 on a daily closing basis. So right now it's pullback time after your event, and then if it's going to be good, it's going to put in a higher low somewhere around here. If it's bad, well, you already know. But that's kind of the main areas for something like this. It's from a long-term perspective, it's actually still quite good here. So I actually do think that this one will put in a higher low. The question is, where does it come in around? Does it come in around $2 even, or does it come in around about 185? I don't have a strong opinion on that, but I do have a strong opinion on getting bearish on this one below about 180 on a daily closing basis. That would destroy this one as far as structure goes. BK says ICE versus Wrapped Ethereum, 4-hour daily weekly. How we doing on comments, by the way? Just out of curiosity. This one's not on TradingView, unfortunately. Yeah, the amount. Okay, so there's a lot today. I think at some point we're gonna have to implement a rule where there's gonna be like we're gonna have to do this just because the comments are getting too much, even with the super chats, and we can't set a minimum on it manually, but we'd have to set like some sort of a minimum to be read, and I hate to do something like that, but at some point need to make another way to kind of titrate down exact. Well, I'm just thinking in general, because we're probably gonna have to make that change at some point in the history of this channel, because it's just otherwise yeah, it's just not gonna be fair, and we have to figure out some other way to prioritize. But yeah, man, I can't find ICE versus Ethereum. No pair on. I do see it versus AVAX. If that's relevant to you, I'm gonna guess these exchanges are, well, Trader Joe. At least I've heard of this one, but it's literally been there for 1 day, so that's not great. Pangolin looks absolutely god awful, but I don't have a call on a chart like this, man. I don't have any real analysis to say on something like this. I mean, this is obviously a disgusting chart right there, but you know, you're going to see your bounces. Then again, this thing trades almost nothing on Pangolin, which I've never heard of this exchange. I think that this is probably not relevant towards your interests, and it's probably best that I say I don't know on this one, which I do not. El Ray Leon says, Long Beach in the house, my fucking man. Hi, Krown and Mrs. Krown, Sexy Nails, and Fury and Furry family. Oh, we're furries! Motherfucker. Can you please check out Solana hourly 4 hours? Sure, man. Thinking of shorting at 175, not looking for financial advice, just opinion. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's something that I can give an opinion. Obviously not financial advice. You want to short at 175. I don't like. You'd actually literally be shorting the support of this one at 175. I'd want it for me to look at this as an actionable breakdown. I just want to see a full hour or maybe even an hourly closure below about 175. That is actually where I do look at this one as a technical breakdown, and probably very likely to test around your weekend wick lows, which is 165 to 160ish region. So whenever you come into an area like this, it's a very, at least in my experience, very painful and unprofitable idea to be shorting into support. You either want to short the actual confirmed breakout, which means that you might be waiting a little bit, and I fucking hate trading breakouts. I do not trade breakouts, actually. I trade trends and ranges. In this case, when I look at a range like this, I'm actually interested in buying right here. Then again, I mean, it's not always going to work out, and this would be a breakdown signature. I mean, you got many drives of hidden bearish divergence and volatility is turning up right here, so it's not looking strong. I probably wouldn't buy this one myself, but here's the thing, man. How many times have it come down to this level and bounced off of it? That's kind of my point. So if you are going to look for the breakout, I don't put the breakout right there. I put the breakout on a closing basis below about $1.75. It's actually more like $1.65. Or sorry, it's a 176. What I'm trying to say. And then yes, I'd be looking for that next move down somewhere around actually this wick low, which I think I said 165 earlier. No, it's actually 155 in this case. Until then, should be looking for bounce off this region. Kind of very, very similar setup to Ethereum as well, but I'm very hesitant to get bearish in a region like that until you actually successfully close below. It doesn't mean that I can't do it. It's just I want to see that first before I start putting risk on. That's my personal ideas, but again, I'm just giving you my opinion. Obviously, if you want to take that trade, you entering right there would give you a better entry, obviously, so potentially more profits, but at the risk of having, like, where's your exit going to be? I wouldn't have a good exit for that area right there. I mean, your only logical one on like an hourly would be if price action trades back above 185. So technically it's an okay risk reward setup, but I don't think it's not a trade that I'd be interested in at all. Anyways, daily Stokes are downside along below about $200. So yeah, this one very easily could break 12-hour below about 185 and a half. Yeah, it's not the picture of strength and fitness right there, but I still think that Bitcoin, if Bitcoin bounced off about $47,000 again, you're probably not going to see most of this market breakdown for what it's worth. Anyways, King Cosmic says, what?
The previous super chat with ICE.
Yeah.
They said you were looking at the wrong chart and it's with ICE.
Okay. Oh, you want to look at? Okay. Well, if you're gonna, if you know the ticker, then just literally type out the exact ticker. So it's like this. So this is Ethereum versus ICE. So that means that if it's going down, that's good for ICE. If it's going up, that's bad for ICE. And in this case, it looks like you put in a bit of a lower high for Ethereum versus ICE right here. Then again, daily does look like a bit of a reversal. I actually treat this one as a reversal right here. You do have some higher highs, and you did take out your range highs. So I actually treat this one as bullish as long as you're above about 225 in this case, with targets back up towards your prior range highs of this rally at about 380. Yeah, I'd be bearish on ICE versus Ethereum, so I'd be bullish on this one right here. Again, as long as this condition is met below this region right here, yep, ICE very likely massively outpaces Ethereum all the way back down to like a 145 to 150ish region. Okay, cool. What?
You have like 40
Mm-hmm.
super chats, so do you think we should cross the 9? Because I think...
Well, when it gets around like 65, that's probably when we should close them. Because if we do like 65, then it usually amounts to about 2 hours, which is where we want to be. Anyways, King Cosmic says, hello, sir. Hello, sir. Peace be upon you. Peace be upon you and everyone else here as well. Yeah, let's go check it out. I know exactly what you want to be looking at. And I forgot to actually speak about this today, but this was also kind of what we opened with yesterday. If you do want to talk about chart of the day, this would be it. Both SPY and NASDAQ pulling back from our areas that we spoke about over the last few days. And that's probably not going to bode too well for Bitcoin. And I do think that it has a little bit more short-term downside right here. Again, I'm not like long-term bearish on this. I'm just looking at a move back down somewhere around about 46.45 to maybe even as low as 46.30-ish region. Short-term timeframes, like a 4-hour. Yeah, same thing over here. I mean, while I do think that this one trades a little bit further south, I would be looking for a bit of a bounce off that region. The problem with that is that that will not bode well for Bitcoin, obviously. And of course, if 46.20-ish region does fail, I would look for this one to come all the way back down towards the 382 at about 45.90 to 4600 even, and try for a higher low there. That would start to look pretty damn good. Something like this, if that were to happen, put in a higher low there, pop back up, maybe something like that, and that would be your ascending triangle at a very high level, and that would be your probably Santo rally as well. But until then, you know, just short term, I'm probably looking at something like this. Whoops. Hey, stop that. God damn it. Here we go. Something like this, and give it a little bit of a bounce, and then see if you fail at about 46.69 or so. Something like that. Hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for SPY, sir. And yes, that very likely does coincide with Bitcoin's direction here too. So I really want to see a bounce off this region right here, because that would probably be akin to Bitcoin around 47. If you do fail that region, then looking somewhere around 45 or so. Cool. Julius Crummer says Hex USD on the 4-hour. Woo, to the moon, baby. Okay. Look, man, I always want to preface this by saying I am not talking about you as a person, but let's go look at the chart over here. Maybe I shouldn't judge it before we look at the chart. You have a very interesting idea about the moon, sir. Yeah, you are likely to bounce right here, but this is a garbage chart, man. Again, I was very bullish on this thing from about 2 cents to 50 cents. I've been very bearish on it ever since. I even called a few bounces prematurely over here, and it wasn't much of a bounce, to be fair. This one is massively long-term bearish as long as you're below your last lower high, which is 28 cents. Short-term, can it bounce up towards 17 cents? Yeah, very easily, but that would still just be another lower high. Shit, it could even bounce up towards 21 cents, and that'd probably just be another trending lower high, to be fair. Looking at a weekly, this thing is atrocious. But likely to bounce from here first. So I do think that you probably are going to have a little bit of a bounce, but if you're just looking at a 4-hour, yeah, it is probably mooning. Well, no, it's not mooning on a 4-hour. It's getting an anemic bounce right there. Had so many drives of bullish everyone's come off the lows. It's likely to actually extend the bounce, I do think, but make no mistake about it, man. This is from a long-term perspective. This is a parabolic blow off top. You actually haven't had one of these before in this asset. I know that people like to say, oh, we had so many 50% downs or 40% downs. No, that's not the same thing at all. This one likely over the next year or so to find its way down towards 10 cents after this bounce, you know, maybe in the next 3-4 months, and then probably 6 months to 12 months out, I'm looking at this thing somewhere around 2 to 5 cents. Actually, that's where I do think that this one could put in like a macro low, and even then it's probably going to take, you know, months and months and months after that to reaccumulate and do anything of significance to the upside. And Bitcoin playing to the downside yet again right here. Looks like we're going to get that test down yet again to the blue box territory. The question is, can the boo laws actually hold it up or not? Jacelyn Andrews says, good day, sir. Good day to you as well. YGG USD on OKX. Okay. YGG USD. But again, Hex is likely to probably extend the bounce right there. Looks very similar to Bitcoin, just a little bit more on the weaker side. And over a long period of time, it's definitely on the weaker side. It's very not impressive chart. However, if we do go to the daily, it is actually quite obvious that there is something resembling a trading range low right here. So it's kind of the same thing as Solana, right? It's like, look, you're on the lows. Doesn't look too strong right there, but until you actually break the lows, it's not very wise to like get short. Not that I think that you can even short this thing to begin with, or probably can't, but you're looking at a 4-hour and 12-hour. Okay. Daily, please. Am I going to have to eat beans for the next 5 years? Please, me family. Well, I don't know if you're short. You've probably been doing pretty well. But if you're long, big problems below 533. That's the hopium right there, that you actually bounce off that region yet again. It's not a great chart though, man. It's definitely not strong on its own. It's going to require Bitcoin to bounce pretty heftily from the $47,000 region. Short term, it would look a lot better back above basically yesterday's rejective high at 656. That would imply targets back up towards 7.5 or so over time. But until then, the hopium here is that the range lows hold. The doomium is that you're going to close below about 533.5, even on a 4-hour, and create some new lows down to $4.5 and probably beyond over time. Not great, man. Not the picture of strength. This is not a strong name. And yeah, this is not fucking good right here, man. John Dude says, Guten Tag, Sir, mein Feind. Krown is the network USD on KuCoin. Fine. Okay. I actually lived in Berlin for a while. The German people are very, very nice. Not in Munich, though, I will say that. Anyways, you're looking at NTV. This is definitely a German coin. Netwerk. The Netwerk coin. Yes. It's like MM crypto. Oh, no, it's MM crypto. He'll say something like this. He'll go, oh, the Netwerk coin, very bullish. We go Netwerk coin now. Yes, I want to make fuck to the network price. Yes, 9. Make sure to stay to the end of the video. I have a very special surprise for you. Network coin gonna be giving away free. Just like and retweet. The fuck? Pretty ugly, man. Pretty fucking ugly. Failed many bounce attempts right there. Jesus. They spit on my face and in my chest. I actually really like MM. I don't know if MM watches these videos anymore, but I actually really like him as a person. I met him in Dubai, and I've actually done videos with him in 2019. I really like him as a person. This is not an endorsement of his videos or anything like that. We don't need to get into that. Anyways, this thing right here, kind of the same thing as the last few charts that we've looked at. You know, you do have some range trading lows right here, but that's the hopium. The hopium is that you give another bounce off this. What is it, like 380 level? 380 level. Below 380 on a 4-hour closure, I'm looking for this thing at minimum to come down to $3.5, and well, we come back to after that, I guess. Do you have any hopium over here? Do you have some bullish divergence forming? But man, that is not actionable, especially as long as you're below about $4.5. This thing is heavily bearish as long as you're below about $4.5, and shit. Even then, there's no talk even about a short-term reversal as long as you're below about 520 in this case. Above 520, things start to look a lot better. So if you are going to see this one turn out to be something resembling bullish, you're probably going to be looking at something like this, where it gives a few stabs into this region, fails to break, fails to break, fails to break, and then pops back up, something like that. That's the hopium right there. The doomium is that you actually close below the range lows, and then 350. It would be my next target. Maybe even as much down to 335. It just wouldn't look good. I mean, look, like this thing's just been nosediving. That's not what strong coins do, but it's also very new. Or shit, whoops. My apologies. Got my stupid brush out, but there we go. Something like that is like, it looks like Hex, but instead of a monthly, it's a weekly. So yeah, man, not great right there. Again, whatever Bitcoin does, someone's going to follow, but if Bitcoin fails 47, this thing's going to get shreked. Cool. Or maybe not that cool. Anyways, Califrios YouTube says, feeling overwhelmed with all the metaverse and gaming coins. Well, yeah, I mean, they're like the new fucking meme within the market, right? If you had to pick, would you invest in I don't invest in bullshit. I don't invest in these things. What the fuck? I just started to invest in Ethereum because I'm now convinced that it's not a complete scam. You're asking the wrong person, man. But we can look at charts, sure. Mana. All right. Well, that's a top. Okay. Sand. Okay. Well, that's a top. ENJ. Well, that's a top. So they're all pretty much the same chart, man. I mean, which one's the strongest one long term? ENJ probably has the better history. Maybe Mana. Maybe Mana is the best one long term. They're all the same chart, basically. They're all going to trade with each other. So you're kind of just thinking of like which one has higher beta compared to the next one. They're all looking for some short-term downside here. If I'm thinking long-term, which I don't on these things, I think they're all going to correct massively first, and then maybe like in the next year or two, you do see another legitimate try to the upside. But both Mana and ENJ are the two that stand out among these three. There's not really a humongous difference between them as far as charts goes. They're both in a corrective phase right now. But long term, they have better history, is what I'm trying to say. ENJ is a little bit more constructive in the short term, for what it's worth. Jeannie Gohan's mom says, "Sorry for being a pain in the butt." Yes, but it's all good. There's no issue. I didn't see that there's any issues. What? Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, we'll definitely keep that in mind. I think we got plenty of mods for right now. But next time that we send some requests out, we'll definitely keep you in mind. Thank you for that. And I don't think that there was any issue. Like, you don't have to apologize. We know that more often than not here, if in doubt, probably just having a little bit of fun, man. So or woman. So all good, all good. Anyways, Don Cardano. Hey, everyone. Merry Xmas, y'all. Happy 22. Happy 22 to you as well, man. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, whatever fucking thing you celebrate. I'm wishing a good one for you. I'm guessing based off your name, you want to look at Carderpio, and we can do that. Might not like exactly what I say about it, but still ugly as fuck. Still ugly as fuck. I mean, again, this one's been beat up so much. It's like, it really wouldn't take too much to get a big bounce on this one, but where's your bouncy bounce areas? Back up about $1.45. Actually, let's record a video on this one. I think we did one on this one yesterday. Oh my God, it did break the range lows. Holy shit. Uh-oh. Hold on. Did I do this for a daily or did I just kind of mess this up? Because it actually should be right there, which was yesterday's low, but whatever it was. All right, cool. Here we have Cardano symbol ADA versus the dollar. And I always have to brace for impact whenever I do a video on this one because the Cardano crew, they're coming in hot, baby. They're coming in hot. Now, here's the good news for Cardano crew. On the monthly, this is more of a bouncy area than not long term. And I don't think that you're going to trade too far. I don't think if there's another dump, you're going to go too far below about $1 before getting a nice big old bouncy bounce. But until then, short-term timeframes, I mean, this is not strong. And technically speaking, you're pretty much on range lows right now. You might even be looking at this as already breaking the range lows. I have this for a daily right there at 133, and I think we might have even closed below there. Yeah, we did close below there, which is not great. So with that in mind, I think the last of the hopium right here, and this is hopium as all fuck, but the hopium is that you bounce off this region. Again, this is probably already breaking down, and then bounce back above your last low rejective high, which is the same thing as yesterday at 148. Above 148, things do switch around for Cardano, and I do look for rallies back up at minimum to about $1.55 short term, and then the next big area is of course 173. Above 173, this thing actually does look like a major reversal, but I think at best this thing's going to be kind of doing something like this for a while, and then maybe gives a try to the upside above your range highs. That would be kind of the hopium right there. Again, I think that this one's kind of already breaking down right now, to be fair with you. And if it does break down, where's the next sort of general targets? Basically down around your last week's low, which was coming in from Saturday in the $1 or like $1.15 to $1 even region. That probably comes alongside of a Bitcoin breakdown below $47,000, which has not happened just yet. But if it does happen, you're probably looking somewhere down around there for Cardano. Really ugly chart, man. Really ugly chart. But, in cryptocurrency land, the more ugly they look, sometimes the harder they pump, to be fair. But as far as the 5-day goes, not great. I mean, this does look like, this one looks like it's already kind of broken its range lows, man. We can go check it out over here just to see if there's anything maybe supportive of this for a little bit of a bear trap. But even 12-hour stokes are freshly down as long as below 133.5. So as long below there, no hopium abound. Daily is freshly crossing down and in the bearish control zone as long as below 135. Not great. Full hour is wouldn't take much to flop it back up, but 130 is a magical number right there. So again, that'd be kind of like the short-term hopium. However, there is still nothing different about this one from any structural change on any time frame that actually is relevant, even down to like a full hour, as long as you're below 148. Above 148, things do start to look a little bit better. This starts to look a little bit more like a bear trap. But until then, continuation is the name of the game, and you did just kind of resolve that range actually on the short-term timeframes, which would imply test back down towards somewhere around like 115 or so. So hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for Cardano. And stay safe, I suppose. So there you go. And again, long-term reversals, where do long-term reversals come in around? We can start to talk about that above about that like 178 high, I think it was, or 180 high, whatever it was. Until then, very, 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 very weak here. Very, very weak. I'm just looking at the very high-term timeframes, which, we can test into this region a few more times, but I would be looking for greater bounces on the monthly right there. So hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for Cardano. Sweet. Cool. Bremo Kwan says, wise, just regular Krown, man. I am not wise. I have to learn from my own mistakes, not from the mistakes of others, which makes me not wise, actually. But I do appreciate it, man. Mobius Network. Okay, symbol MOBI. All right. Sounds like a highly esteemed, well, looks like it's also not on TradingView is the actual problem with this thing. Mobius Network. Maybe I just try Mobius. Okay. That's Mobius Investment Trust. I'm guessing that's not what you're talking about. It's not on TradingView, man, unfortunately. Maybe it's like one of these. Nope. Yeah, not on TradingView, man. Unfortunately, we can't pull it up here just trying a few different tricks there, but yeah, it's not on TradeView, so unfortunately we can't pull it up, which probably means that it's very, 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 very new. Can you pump like a shark coin today? Can you check? Oh, okay, so you're just making a statement. But you want to look at Stellar. Okay, yeah, we can do that. I have it as symbol STR over here, just to avoid confusion. It's the same thing. I can assure you of that. So it's also, I mean, you can also look at both the charts, and they're both equally as shitty between STR and XLM. Anyways, lots of volume today. Nope, it's actually not at all. No offense. As you can see over here, well, this is a weekly to be fair, but even on a daily, there's absolutely minimum volume right here. You're probably on a different exchange, which fair enough, we could do. We could definitely do. Let's just do XLM and I don't know, probably on Binance or something like this. Still not a lot of volume today. In fact, very minimal. And that doesn't matter either, because right now volume pouring into this thing on the lows is probably going to indicate that it's going to have continuation in the same direction of the trend. In this case, that would not be good. Anyways, ICO that bled but still is development. That's cool, but the problem is that the chart does not show that. The chart is mostly ugly as fuck. I can tell you where the bear trap happens, back above about 31 cents. That would look pretty damn good. But again, if Bitcoin tests into 47, which it, it's kind of doing right now, you probably see something like this. And this is the hopium, is that you put in another spike low there and then pop back up quickly above that 30-cent high. At that point, this would start to look a lot more like a low. Until then, this is just continuation and very ugly. Weekly, atrocious. 5-day, atrocious. Monthly, disgusting. It's probably not going to break down here just yet. I think that Bitcoin has at least one more bounce in it, so fair enough. But just be aware of where those where that narrative kind of changes around from a technical perspective. TC Elliott Sound says Gala daily, weekly, monthly. There's probably not going to be a monthly on this thing, if I recall. Maybe there is. Maybe it is more long term. Yeah, there is. Okay, well. No, there is not a monthly on this, actually. It's quite new. We can do a daily, maybe even a weekly. Probably not a weekly. Let's put on log scale so it doesn't look as shitty as possible. 4 hour. What do we see right here? Okay. Here we have Gala, symbol GALA, one of the more interesting coins between about November to end of November, but ever since then, no. And I believe we called a top in it, not on the actual top, but somewhere over here at like very end of November. And I'll still be sticking with that top call. There's absolutely no reason at all whatsoever to be even short-term bullish on this thing, as long as you're below your range highs on the 4 hour, which is 56 cents above there. Yes, okay, I would be looking for this one to pop back up towards 65, maybe as much as 73, and this would start to look a lot better long-term. But you can see the rejection came exactly at that level yesterday, the same level that we had mapped out, I think, when we did this video yesterday. I think that was it. And right now, putting in another drive of hidden bearish divergence, also head and shoulders on 4 hour RSI, and volatility looks like it could very easily expand above about 50 percentile, which would imply another test down to the bottom side of your range here in the low 40s. I wouldn't necessarily call it a full-on technical breakdown just yet until you actually close below 41 cents on a 4 hour minimum. And at that point, I'd be looking for big moves down somewhere around 35 cents and a bounce there, and then come back after that. Daily is not great. Weekly doesn't really have enough price action history, neither does a 5-day, and certainly not a monthly as well. So this one's kind of happening all in a 4 hour. So I guess the hopium here, if I'm going to give you some hopium, is something like this, where you come down, maybe set in a higher low, or maybe even spike this region right here, and then most importantly, pop back above your range highs right there. That would look okay. That would look pretty damn good. Maybe momentum will also be on your same side. So let's just go check it out over here. 4 hour is freshly down as long as below 54 cents, and that's alongside hidden bearish divergence, so not great, and volatility is already taken up right there, not good. Daily will flip back up above 48 cents, so a little bit of hopium there, but it's a long day left to go, obviously. 12 hour is going to cross down below 44.77, which is if that happens, yep, I'm looking at minimum another test towards the range lows, and probably does break down, but fair enough. I'd want to see it actually officially close below there first before I do get on the same side as that. Yeah, weekly doesn't even populate, neither does a 5-day essentially, so not much to make out of, other than that. Short term, it's more downside angled. I do look for continuation short term. The question is, does it break the range lows or not? If it does, well, you already know where I'm going with that, and hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Gala, sir. Cool. Mark Wilson says .USD for our daily weekly. Okay, all right. The LARP lines of hopium today are going strong. Man, it's right on this fucking level. I remember we looked at this one yesterday, and not great, sir. Again, if you're on a daily right here, we don't really need to look at a 4 hour or weekly right now. The daily is actually going to get everything pretty damn well. Look, as long as you're below 31 and a half, not fucking good, man. And above there, yeah, you can start talking about a bit of a bear trap, looking for moves back up towards 37 to 37 and a half over time. Until then, you're a lot closer to breaking down than breaking up, but it has not happened just yet. And again, this, you know, if Bitcoin breaks down, this one probably breaks down with it. If Bitcoin doesn't break down, then, well, this one probably does something similar to the last few ones that we looked at, something like this, and then, you know, boom. But I don't want to be feeding you too much hopium. Again, this one is still, you know, it's ugly right here. Multiple draws of hidden bearish divergence, volatility is ticking up. Just want to see a closure below that $26 level. And at that point, I'd be looking for probably another fill of your weekend lows from 4th of December, which is down towards 23 to 23 and a half, something like that. What about a weekly right here? You know, long term, this is probably fine long term, but this thing can come all the way down to like 19 and a half and still be long term okay, and a higher low on the monthly here below there. Then you start to get into like some real issues. But you know, again, it's just easy to watch what Bitcoin's going to do. If Bitcoin breaks 47, probably have some problems on CME. Bitcoin doesn't, well, this one probably spikes it up and then, you know, takes out that 31.5 high, or sorry, $31.5 high in that case. Anyways, it's a long hold for you, but wonder if I should set a stop loss with market conditions on low $20 buys. Do you mean that you already bought at $20? That's for you to decide, obviously. But if you already bought at $20, I think that you should be protecting your position a little bit more aggressively, just because you can, you know, at least eke out a profit right there, and position probably around the same area if it does break down. So yeah, I don't know exactly what you mean by that, or if you are thinking about having a market stop loss at $20, that would actually make very little sense to me, because that's already a breakdown, you know, that's already a breakdown. So I don't know exactly where you're going with that one. Vince says Matic USD. Yep, we already got that one. Short term, bit more of a pullback there. As long as above 185, I do still like it, but that was event driven. So, well, likely to happen in that case, which is what we were looking at yesterday. Mark Wilson's back in. He wants to look at Depot versus Wrapped Ethereum. I wonder if we're going to see any chart that's like actually bullish today. This would not be one of them. Very likely coming back down towards yesterday's low at 12,700 or so, maybe even a little bit lower than that, towards 12,300, or is that 12,300? Yeah, 123,000 actually. So somewhere between about 130,000 and that other number that I just said. But yeah, this is looking like a bit of a toppy top right there. Where's the hopium on this one? Well, here's the thing. You know, where is your range lows right now? Where do you actually get a technical breakdown? That would be on a 4-hour closing lower low than 133,444. Easy to remember. So I guess the hopium is that, you know, you do something like this and kind of come back down there and then maybe spike it back up. Where is your major area to be aware of to the upside? Right here, 173,000. As long as you're below there, not good. If you can get back above there, then I'd just be looking for it to play back up to your prior range highs, which is somewhere around here actually, which funnily enough, those LARP lines are working with. But again, closing below here, there's no more hopium. Very likely some doomium down to low 100,000s. You know, very new chart here, so it's difficult to kind of do too much on it. But if I'm looking at the higher term timeframes, looks more toppy than not, to be fair. 4-hour and hourly. Yeah, really not much to be going off of here, to be fair as well. I mean, this one, like, it looks like it just barely trades, very liquid. So I really always want to be very direct and straight shooting on charts like this, because I don't feel as confident with them, and I don't think that I should have the strongest opinion. So I'll just be going off of the greater ranges in this case. Make it a little bit easier to account for that. Appreciate that, Groovedelic. And oh really, Luna, please. Okay, we can do Luna. Where is Luna? Is Luna still doing okay? Probably not. Probably not. I guess I don't have it on my list. Do like this. Okay, Luna versus the dollar. No time frames given. All right, well, I'm gonna go with the 4-hour daily. Actually, it doesn't look as bad as a lot of the other ones. In fact, it actually looks, comparatively speaking, a lot better than most other ones. We do have potential hidden bullish divergence to confirm a local low right here. That'll be had with any sort of a closure above about $71, with targets back up towards your range highs at 75.5. Something like this. Let me actually do this. So here's your highs. You got your rising bottoms coming in right here. Something like that. So as long as you do hold above about, 65.5, you got that still available for you. This would be like one of the only things that actually looks potentially okay, but let's see what the daily says. Daily says probably trades down towards $60. Long term, still fine from a long-term trend perspective, as long as you're above about 53 to 54. So again, if Bitcoin dumps out, do I expect this one to come down as well? Yeah, very likely test somewhere down around there. Until then, do you potentially have some hopium here for the short term? It's possible, but understand where that actually happens. It won't be confirmed until you actually close back above basically your 4-hour high right here at $71, and then that would imply targets back up towards the top side of your range, and that would look pretty damn good. But until then, this is hopium, closing below that region, and well, a little bit of short-term doomium, but not long-term. I mean, it's still long-term, one of the more strong charts, I would say. Yeah, weekly still fine, long-term, 5-day still fine, long-term. I don't have any issues with these ones as long as those conditions are met. So it's just difficult because if the market does dump out, is this one going to be immune from that? Probably not. So that is always a good counterpoint. Groovidelic says CRO. No, I haven't done CRO. In fact, no one's asked about CRO in at least a week now, and I suspect that that's because it topped out, and it did. And it fucking did. And I believe we called it topped on this one somewhere around here, and that's fine. And I expect that this would be a good one to follow up on as well. Here we have crypto.com, symbol CRO versus the dollar. And we have at best a sideways consolidation. And what we're going to be looking at right here is something like this for your short-term range, that being a high of about 62.25 and a low structure basically on your 4th of December lows at about 48 cents. So as long as you're between there, the hopium is that you do put in a bit of a higher low somewhere in the low 50s or upper 40s. Fair enough, it could definitely happen, but there's nothing really super exciting to get, nothing really exciting to get about this. Is that even the right terminology? I don't know. Until you get back above this last rejective high from your current daily range, which is 68.25. Above there, I do look for this one to return back up towards, mid 80s, upper 90s, and this starts to look like a major low, and that would look pretty damn good. But let's put it on the other higher term timeframes. 5-day certainly looks like a major top. We have extremes on 5-day BBWP, as we did also hit major extremes twice on daily BBWP, so I'm a lot more angled towards short-term downside test. Question is, does it hold or not? If it doesn't hold, then if you actually break and close below this region right here, even on a 4-hour, I'm looking for moves down towards 40 cents or so. Hold on, is that right? 45 to 40 cents or so. Until then, I guess you got a little bit of hopium right here. 4-hour, what do we see? 4 hours downside angled, very likely to come back down and test somewhere around your low 50s, upper 40s. That doesn't imply a breakdown just yet, however. And again, the hopium is that you get back above this region after a bit of a bounce there. Let's see what we have over here. CRO, just to see if this agrees or disagrees. And 4-hour, I'm guessing down. Yep, down as long as below 57, which is actually not too far out of the range right now. And we do see several lows being found within this region, in fact. Anyways, daily, we'll pop back up above 53. Okay, this one actually does show a few signs of life. 12 hours fresh crossing down below 57.80 or so, which you're at right now. So it's going to be a long day on this one, but basically just don't want to see it break below this region right here, about 48 cents. Below there, even on a 4-hour closure, big problems. In fact, even below just like basically 50 cents, even on a 4-hour closure, it's going to be big problems. But until then, I'd give it a chance. It actually is holding up relatively better than most of the market, but I would not call this one resolved as long as you're below about 68. Above 68, this one starts to look a lot better, and it would imply a long-term bullish resolution, but not an immediate bullish resolution. So still probably waiting here for a long time at best. And if I'm looking at the weekly, like this thing can pull back quite a fair bit and still be long-term bullish. I mean, this thing could pull back to like 35 cents and still be long-term good. Monthly, same thing over here as well. Like long-term, this is good. It's pretty damn good long-term. The question is, do we pull back into the mid-30s or not first, which would be probably borne upon the break of that short-term time frame range. So hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for crypto.com, sir. Yep. It's time. All right, we're going to shut down the super chats from now. So that means all the super chats submitted after this moment are not going to be read, but all the ones before this moment will be read. So pin that message right there. Good to go. And I'm going to take another sip of this water as we get ready for the next stretch, my friends. There we go. There we go. Where did I leave off? Dahlia, the golden doodle. There he or she is. I'm guessing that's a girl dog. It must be a girl dog. Can you check out EOS? Oh man, I'm sorry, doggy, but your owners, they've done goofed for the last time. EOS. Well, shit. One of the worst charts we've seen today. Certainly. On the weekly long term, okay, decimated since May crash. It's been decimated ever since 2018, actually. Just curious when to start getting bullish chart wise. Okay, so bullish chart wise long term. Well, this thing's only been downtrending basically since its inception. So this is 100% hopium that this is even going to happen. But if you were to close above your last rejective lower high, which is 662, that would be a good sign. Problem is, that's more than a 2x from where you're at right now in an asset that's never known an uptrend on a higher term time frame. Weekly, ugly as fuck. Yeah, nothing bullish about this thing long term as long as you're below on a weekly closing basis, like $10. On a monthly, I think it was 6.5. So that's a hopium right there. But yeah, very, 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 very terrible chart. One of the worst charts actually that we've seen today, in fact, because it's been very bad for a very long time. Doesn't mean that it can't flip around at some point. I guess anything can, but this thing, well, fingers crossed for you, Dahlia. I hope that you still get fed. But yeah, that would be your first sort of etchings of a long-term uptrend maybe forming. If you're on a daily, hard chart to love as long as you're below about $6.5 as well. Let's see. Bitnik says, how do you think Evergrande will hit the market? So, okay, so I am actually, while I do actually have an economics degree, I don't think that economics is very, I don't consider myself an economist, and I don't think that, I honestly, economists are notoriously like just terrible. In fact, the saying goes that astrologers exist to make economists look good, which is kind of funny. But honestly, I think astrologers might be the other way around, because astrologers, at least the fucking moon cycle has been getting shit better than fucking economists. Anyways, so what I do know is narrative plays and how news kind of interacts with markets. That is what I do have experience in, and that's what I can feel comfortable talking about here on a public channel. So basically, when the public starts to get all these news, in this case of Evergrande defaulting, there usually is an initial shock that can, happen over a few days, maybe as much as a week, but typically you're very, very close to the end of the move, and at maximum like 2 weeks from that time where it starts to become like very hot topic. And that's also why trading the news is usually a loser's sort of game. Because you're kind of like the last person to the party in this case. So the general rule is, when you have a major situation like this, and you could make the same thing for this flu dump, right? We actually saw the exact same thing on the flu dump in March 2020, right? Once this started to become like really a big deal in the US, and you saw it on all of the headlines and people were freaking out, that's when the major lows were put in. And this wasn't just for Bitcoin, this was for all major markets, in a more dramatic way, actually. So the fact that Evergrande is now becoming a very common topic of conversation tells me that we're very close to the end of that. But can that come with maybe one more move to the downside in like the mid to low 40s? Yeah, absolutely. But I do think that we're a lot closer to the end of that narrative play than not. So that's typically the way that news works in markets. When you start to hear about shit, you're very close to the end of it, both the upside and the downside, but a little bit more acute to the downside in a lot of cases, because emotions are high, right? Jack Assman says, oh, there he is. Good morning to you, man. Matic versus Ethereum. Yeah, let's see where this one's at. Is Matic still outpacing Ethereum? I think we were looking for a short-term pullback, but long-term good. So let's see where we're at here. And I think that's what we got. Yeah, short-term pullback, long-term still good. Do we pull back a little bit more though? This is where I get a little bit not as confident, because it could easily pull back a little bit more towards 49 or 50,000 base, but I'm bullish on this one long-term. This is obviously bullish long-term. So does it maybe make one more step a little bit lower, somewhere into like the upper 40s? It's possible, definitely. We do see an ever so slight amount of bearish divergence right there. Wouldn't take too much to pull it back down to like 47 or 48,000 butyrols, but long-term, I'm still very much bullish on this. I have no reason to invalidate long-term bullishness as long as you're specifically above your last higher low here, Mr. Jack, at 46,200. So that does mean that you get some spikes around that region, but those are just higher lows, and I'd still be bullish on Matic versus Ethereum. And again, it's kind of similar to Matic chart, right? Matic very short term, looking like a little bit of a pullback. However, long term, I still like it actually over the next month or two. Hopefully that was helpful though. The Golby Fire says Track USD. Oh man, you love this one, don't you? You love this one. All right, Track US derp. Okay, all right. Pretty bad. Broke below your range lows yesterday, and I'm probably looking for this one to. It's already retested your prior lows. So that I guess that trade's already played out. Yeah, because your 4 already closed below there. You tested your lows right there. Okay, fair enough. You actually might be getting ready for a bounce soon. Hold on. Do you have bullish divergence here? Actually, no. That's concerning. That's fucking concerning, man. Might be one more spike down first towards $1 even. This is fucking ugly right there. Where's the hopium? Where do things turn around? Well, not here. That was your breakdown, which initiated the target down to about $1 even or so, which you already got. Where do things change around? If you want to be super conservative, about 141, which is not happening anytime soon. And if you want to be a little more aggressive, then I'd say 130 and a half. Until then, anything is just a lower high, and continuation of trend is the most likely thing to be happening. Weekly is probably likely to bounce here, to be fair. If you do fail this region, you know, a dollar would be the next sort of area to be looking at on a short-term time frame. On a higher term time frame, you're looking at somewhere around about 80 cents on a weekly. And to be fair, the weekly actually is kind of concerning here, as is the 5-day. You got many drives of bearish divergence. You also hit extremes right here. If I'm calling the 5-day, while I do think that you might have a bit of a short-term bounce over the next couple of weeks, probably coming down to mid to low 80s, and tries for like a macro higher low there, something like that would be okay. And again, that would actually be very good long term. I mean, it is just general uptrend. Tell Krown he's bigger than Mitch Ray now. Like, what do you mean? Like in stature? I don't know. Shout out to Mitch Ray. What's up, man? Matthew X says, hello from Pennsylvania. 4-hour and daily for a spell, please. Okay. All right. Mitch Ray's got that lovely southern drawl, doesn't he? It makes him, it's actually very nice to listen to. Every once in a while I tune in. Anyways, spell USD. I guess we go to Dirtbase or Finex maybe. I don't even fucking know anymore. Where are the shit coins at nowadays? I think we looked at this one earlier, actually. Well, that's not good, but that's a little bit too small price action to be looking at. Okay, Poloniex equally as unimpressive. What is this? I don't know. Another lower high, perhaps. Might be another lower high in this bitch. Probably looking at this one to come back down towards, I don't know, 1.1 to 1.2 center. So 4-hour continuation. Nothing bullish about this thing as long as you're below 2 cents. So the hopium is that you put in something resembling a higher low right here and then pop back above 2 cents. That'll look great. That'll look great for a reversal. It is a bit of hopium there. Until then, getting a lot more bearish signals on this. Cool. Kyle Winnan says, ET, please, sir. Okay. Is this a crypto or a stock? I'm happy to look at stocks, but I just need to know. I'm guessing it's actually, well, let's just try this. Well, I don't see a stock there. It would be great if you, okay, I'm guessing it's maybe this. Okay, you said you're in at 8, so it probably is this. I guess I do this on like a weekly. What the fuck did I do this one last? I was using these stupid horizontals before. All right, we'll redo the chart because I don't think I've looked at this one in like years. Anyways, you are at an average at 805, so you're doing quite well. You basically bought the low of this potential short-term reversal right here. Let's see how that looks on a daily. Well, you do have a low. You don't have a reversal here just yet. Short-term, I'm looking for this one to pop back up towards 870. You're talking about a long-term play though. So basically your trade thesis is that this is your next major low and you're going to reverse from here. Is that likely? I think I'll hold off on making any comments on that. What I can say though is that your trade's going to be validated, at least in my opinion, if you can start to get back above about 920 to 9.25. That's where this thing starts to look like a major low. But if I'm being quite honest with you, on a monthly, this is not fucking good. Hidden bearish evidence right there. Now that's already played out, to be fair. What about a quarterly? Yeah, still pretty ugly. So if it is long-term play, I would be cognizant that you do have, well, no, you don't have hidden bearish evidence potential there, but I'm not, look, I do think that you can rally up towards 920 to 9.25 or so, but as long as you're below there, I mean, there's still not really any talk about like a major reversal going on here just yet. Higher term time frame still pretty damn ugly, but that'd be kind of where I change around on this. The obvious area would be $10 if you're super conservative. Above there, this is a reversal and this looks pretty damn good. But for right now, you know, it's a good bounce area. Yep, I definitely agree with that. You got a great position. You know, where do you invalidate this one? I guess below, like, not yesterday's, but the day prior than that, low, like 8.25. Tough one. Definitely a tough one, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know on this one, man. A healthy amount of I don't know is the proper answer, but fucking hell, man, I hate charts that look like this. I hate charts that looks like that. iQuint, welcome to the cave as well, sir. Mylene Gomes says AVAX USD. Yep, we already did that one, or maybe not on your time frames that you specified, but a 4-hour and hourly. I think we are looking for some downside, and we're getting some downside. Forgive the LARP lines right here. That was the hopium play. In this case, yeah, you did play out towards your prior low, so not really much else to go off of, off of on that. Anyways, man, so we have trolls that actually wait 10 minutes long just to post their message. Like that's dedication, man. You must have a really fulfilled life. That's amazing. I'm really happy for you. But yeah, I don't really have anything to add on here that hasn't already been said. I mean, the trade setup for the 4 hour was what we spoke about earlier on this lower high and testing back down around the $83 to $84 low, which we kind of just got right there. So, you know, does it come down a little bit more officially towards like the $81 or $80 even level and try for a bounce there? Perhaps yes, but right now this is not like an actionable one anymore, at least in my opinion. If you go to a 12 hour, that's not great. Again, same sort of setup as before. However, above 96.5, even on a wick, pretty damn good. Daily closure above about 95 would also look pretty damn good. Until then, it's hopium with short-term downside. It's kind of playing out right now. Hey, what's up, Mark Hutchins? Z1P on the ASX. Okay, all right. And thank you for specifying the exchange, by the way. It's actually very helpful. That's not good. That's not good. What is this? Another lower high. We have hidden bearish evidence populated right there. I'm looking for at minimum this one to fill the gap at about 475 or so. Forgive me for being hesitant to call a reversal on something that looks like this, but you are kind of on range lows here. So it's like, if you're going to have another pity bounce, this is probably where it comes in from. Something like this is what you're looking at. Something like that. And you trade back up over the next few weeks towards like 6 or like 580 to $6 or so. I really don't like that slinking over behavior, but yeah, this is more of a bounce here than not. So I'm inclined to say that you probably fill the gap and then try for a bit of an upside move. You'll know that this one is short-term good if you can get back above 530, and at that point I would be looking for moves towards about $6 or so. And you play at the bounce first before a potential continuation long-term to the downside, because this probably does take some time here. Cool. David, welcome to the cave as well, sir. Gringus Gringenstein, hello, sir. OHMDAI. No, we haven't done that one. Okay. This thingy, Olympus. Okay, on Sushi Swap. Fucking hell, man. Oh, I did this one on a daily. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, bouncing off of our level right here, but not, I mean, not strong again. Like, do you bounce back up towards 580 to 590? Definitely possible, but it is just another lower high. This chart, by the way, is not for a 4 hour. If we're going to do it for a 4 hour, which, oh no, you did ask for a daily. Okay, well, I could have just kept this one, I guess, over here. I'm looking for a bounce here first, probably somewhere around about 575 to 580 or so. Something like that is fair game. Weekly, not enough history here. 5 day, also not enough history, so I guess 2 days the highest that we can go to. So probably looking for a bounce first, but yeah, looking for a bounce first, and I'd call it an actual reversal back above about 630, which is not my short-term target on something like this, but I suspect that you got many drives of bullish evidence, and you do. Yeah, I'm looking for this one to trade up somewhere around the 55 here, so 580-ish region, give or take. Back above 630, things start to change around. Until then, just a little bit of short-term up. I know you asked about a daily as well, but not really getting too much from a daily. Probably short-term bouncy. Really only problems below today's daily low at about 490 or so. All right, let's see. Kevin fucking one says, my rent is overdue, sir. Give me some bullish targets for Ocean USD. All right, I can give you bullish targets. Doesn't mean that they're gonna play out. This is the definition of hopium. Bullish targets. Okay, I've been studying my analysis from crypto Twitter, and you know what? I know how to trade. And so I've learned this one from the very highly esteemed accounts. And it goes a little something like this. Okay. Currently trading at 88 cents, and our prior highs are $2. So that means 125% to break even, and rent will be paid with interest. That's the hopium, man. Look, it's a garbage chart. Midterm, no real hopium as long as you're below this little lower high. Jesus Christ, come on, get out of my face. As long as you're below about $1, so a nice round even number. Look, if Bitcoin dumps out, you're going to see this thing trade down towards like 80 cents first or 85 cents first. And I mean, you're already there. Probably more like 80 cents in this case, or 75 cents is what I mean to say. If Bitcoin dumps out here. Nothing bullish about this thing short or medium term as long as it's below $1. Above $1, I wouldn't have any crazy targets. I'd just be looking for a return back up towards like 114 to 115-ish region. Long term, I rest my case. Yeah, it's just another rejection right there on the macro scale. Not a humongous fan of that one, but I guess there's always hopium, right? Dan Case is Sand USD on the 4 hour. Okay, we can look at this one. Sand. You bought at 60 cents spot, didn't take profits. No! Why? Why? No! It's redistribution. Oh! You bought at 60 cents? Sir, you're like massively in profit. What the fuck are you doing? Sir, I bought at 60 cents. What should I do on this piece of shit chart? I don't know. Maybe take profits. You got in at 60 cents. You're almost at like a 10x or something. Yeah, you're just below a 10x. Sir, greed. Fucking greed. Sorry, man. I don't mean to be rude towards you. I'm more of a hodler than a trader. Okay, well, if you're going to hodl, are you going to hodl till like the day that you die? If so, then what's the fucking point? Because you need to like spend it in order to realize it, but fair enough. But interested in your opinion to take some off now. It looks bearish. It is fucking bearish, man. This is the bearish redistribution pattern right here. It's not confirmed just yet. And of course, with any pattern, you know, it's only a higher probability that they break out to the downside than the upside in this case. Where do you negate this one? Back above 570 starts to look okay again with targets back up towards 6.5 plus. But for right now, you're a lot closer to resolving this one to the downside, which will be had with any sort of a 4-hour closure below your range lows at 490, implying moves back down to $4 or so. Should we do a video on this one and just really piss off the sand people? That could be construed as racist, and I do not mean that. I mean holders of the sandbox coin is what I mean to say. Wow, that didn't take profits on that, man. Here we have Sandbox, symbol SAND for the dollar, and we have a beautiful community member here, Mr. Dan K, who says, I got in at 60 cents spot, didn't take profits, what do? Well, this is not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but it appears to me that you have a downtrend, and as long as you are below 570, there is absolutely zero at all whatsoever hopium. That also means invalidation above 570, and, well, hopium can remain with targets back above towards $6.5 plus. However, for right now, whilst you're in this bearish redistribution pattern, there is a resolution point or a validation below about 490 or 491 in this case, with targets down to about just below $4 at 395 to 390-ish region over time if the validation condition, which is a closure below that region, is met. With that in mind, we do see many drives of hidden bearish divergence, with the 4-hour RSI about to dip back into the bearish control zone, with the volatility about to tick up. Not fucking good. On the daily, you have several signals of a top, which we spoke about at length a couple weeks ago. And what are these? Multiple drives, or sorry, not multiple drives, but two major extreme events on daily BBWP and many drives of bearish divergence off the daily highs. So that is usually going to be good for a top for a while. I probably would be looking for a target down here, assuming that invalidation is not met. And then we come back to it after that. Higher term timeframes like a weekly are not great. Not great, you might say. Monthly, long-term good, but long-term is not the same thing as weekly, daily, or anything less than that, and might be in for a little bit of short-term volatility. Again, you know, what's the hopium here? The hopium is that Bitcoin probably bounces off 47 again, and you see something like this, and you take out your range highs, and then boom, that would look pretty damn good. That would look really, really good for a bit of a bear trap, but barring any sort of price action back above 570, there is no hopium. It's only doomium. It's only doomium, sir. It's only doomium, and
he's back. He's back with his bearish divergence, plateaus, and pop hands, and that is looking fucking nasty right there. Let's go see what it looks like from a stochastic dimension perspective. Bear Jesus has some few things to say about this. No! $12 crossing down below $5, which you are currently below about 5.6 right now. Daily down is already below 5.68. Oh, that's great. 5-day freshly down below $7. Weekly now it's gonna cross down below $6. What the fuck? There, Jesus, even as a trend line coming in from your all three major highs.
sorry about that. Anyways, critical warning to the Sandcoin hodlers. I mean, again, you know, invalidation. Don't get too ahead of yourself over here, obviously, but that'll be my take on that for better or worse, and hopefully that was helpful. There you go for Sandbox, sir. I can't understand gay Satan voice. Ban him! Ban him now! Get him out of here! He's not gay for TA! Get the fuck out! Ban him immediately! Tyler Gongloff is even in his name. Gong Long, it sounds like. Seriously, ban him. We can't have that kind of shit going on here. Senor Hex. Oh, I wonder what you're going to bounce about. Yeah, we already looked at Hex. Still looks like shit, but short-term bouncy. Short-term, this thing can bounce up all the way to 18 cents, and that wouldn't really do anything. Very, very bearish long-term as long as it's below 28 cents, and I stick with long-term targets over the next half year to a year below 10 cents. But right now, more likely to bounce here than not. Same thing on the monthly. Hey, Nikki Page is here. Nice. You done goofed. If you ain't gay for TA, you got to get out. Yoash Chua. Joshua. Is that how you say it? Hopefully I'm saying that properly. Mover on the 4-hour in daily. All right. This is Moon River. Great clickbait name. Great name. Not much hard on the monthly. Oh boy. Pray to Bula Jesus. 227.5 is retaken. Again, another just ugly chart. Hidden bearish evidence on 4-hour RSI. Volatility is ticking up right here. It's looking like continuation of trend. Again, invalidation is not until 227.5. Above 227.5, yeah, things look okay, but this thing's never known what an uptrend is. So, or at least on this chart, I don't know if there's charts that have better history. I also don't know if it'd matter all that much, but I'm not inclined to call a reversal on anything that's only ever gone down. Above 227, I just look for corrective bounces. Targets would be up to about 275 to maybe even 280. Until then, hopium, but well, hopium. Maxime Bernard says, can you check out Engine? Yeah, kind of looked at this one tangentially earlier. Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh today. Same thing. On range lows right now. Just close it below 254, whatever it is. Yeah, 254. And I'd be looking for another retest of probably like 240 or so. If things really get nasty, then probably somewhere more around about 220. 4-hour. If you're using a 4-hour to judge this one, I'd say a 4-hour closure below 247 would do it for me. Again, I'm sure you got the same setup right here. Many drives of hidden bearish evidence, volatility ticking up, lower highs all along the way. So what sort of a technical setup is this? Descending triangle, so higher probability breakout to the downside than the upside. Where do you invalidate this? Back above 295, things look good, or I wouldn't say good, but well, actually, yeah, they would look good for a bit of a bear trap with targets back up towards 3.5, maybe more over time. Until then, the probabilities are on the downside here as long as you're within that formation. Weekly. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, if this thing really wants to break down, then I guess like I probably won't say that right now. I don't think that you didn't include time frames, so I'm guessing probably not high term time frames. But maybe I could be wrong. Reshop says Rune BTC 4 and daily. Cool. How bad is the damage? Well, judging by the general market, probably not great. Yeah, pretty ugly. Daily, your hopium here is that you're going to set in like a weekly higher low or 5-day higher low, something like that. But I'm not getting any signals of bottoming here just yet. You'll know that you have a short-term bottom if you can trade back above your last rejective high from literally just yesterday at 1640. Above there, this would look like a local low and a bear trap with targets back up towards 1900, maybe even 2000. That would look quite good. And to be fair, there's a bit of hopium for this. I mean, I got something like this, although if you are playing a trend line like this, which I typically don't do myself, but if you were, you would actually be implied for another drive to the downside at somewhere around about 1300 to 1350 or so first. So for what it's worth, that would be the hopium right there. Short-term time frames like a 4-hour. Again, same setup that we see pretty much across the lands. Hidden bearish evidence right there. At least volatility is not expanding right there, so that would be a good sign. But it's not a good sign, but it'd be better than it expanding. So at least you don't have that. But back above this region right here, that's where things start to turn around. So that's really what I have to say about that, man. But let's see, what does the monthly look like on something like this? Again, it is more likely to bounce from regions like this. Like, I really shouldn't be looking for big breakdowns below these levels that actually hold. So just be aware of where the bear trap is. And that's pretty much my message on all these ones for today. That's why I'm kind of marking off these areas. Like, look, looks like shit right now. If you can get back above that region, that's where things start to turn around. And, well, personally speaking, I would like that. Anyways, Radio Knife says KSM on the weekly. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Even with all the antics from today. Well, fair enough, man. Then it sounds like you belong here, sir. So I'm very much happy to have you. As is all the new people. I mean, shit, man. We had 2,000 people earlier today. This is insane. 1,500 likes on the video already. I mean, what the fuck? It's amazing. That is amazing, man. Anyways, KSM, and you're looking at a weekly. Is that right? Yeah, weekly. Let's see what a 5-day looks like. Not great. I mean, you're already below your prior low, so that's usually not a great sign. Again, what's the hopium play here? It's actually on the daily above 323.5. That would look quite good for at least a move back up towards 355. And this would look okay, I guess. That's the hopium there. The hopium is that you're doing something like this long term. If I'm just going to do something like this. Now this is hopium right here, just because we do not have a local low confirmed thus far on the charts, and I think it's like massively important to recognize that's not in play just yet. But if it were to be in play, you'll know earliest by daily back above your last high from 7th of December right there. That would look okay for a local low. Until then, where does this one enter into free fall status yet again? Let's go down to a 4 hour in this case. Free fall status is with a 4 hour below about 269 on a closing basis. And I guess free fall targets are somewhere around 240 lows. Will look pretty ugly. So again, it's just going to be easier to watch Bitcoin on most of these. If I were to just kind of wrap up my thoughts on like all altcoins, like look, if Bitcoin trades back above $52,000, you're probably looking pretty damn good for some major lows in. If Bitcoin even closes today above 49.5, you're there. The hopium is alive. If Bitcoin breaks below 46.5 on spot or 47 on CME, not so much hopium. It's a little bit of doomium first before anything else. John Clay says CRO USD. Yep, we already got that one, so I think we're good there. And I think I recorded it too, so we're good. Dan K, he's back. I'm the sand guy. Hello, Sandman. Heard you in that Metallics song. Ran out of characters and text. Wanted to say thanks, man. I really appreciate that, man. And actually, and I shouldn't say actually. I definitely recognize you from 2019, man. I recognize all the people, all the OGs who like made who would comment, back in the day. I recognize everyone. And I certainly recognize your name as well, man. And thank you for that. That's really, really awesome. And glad that you're getting some value out of it. Noah97 says Matic 4 hour and daily. Yep, we already looked at that one. Weekly showing big fat doji. Long term, I'm actually still bullish on that one. The question is it a pullback to like $2 even or 185 region? It's probably going to depend on whatever Bitcoin finds its next local low. And I think I might have recorded on that one. And then we have Mario. Mario's back and he wants to look at Matic as well. Same thing right there, man. Again, it had its event yesterday. So that's why I was very hesitant to look at TA yesterday on something like that. It's just, it was looking good yesterday, but at the same time, it's more likely to pull back. So $2 is kind of the next area that I'll be looking for potentially a bounce, but Bitcoin fails like 47, then I'm looking for this one somewhere around about 185 or so, and that's where I'd still like it. I start to not like this one long term if you do start to trade below, what is it, like 170? Yeah, 170 on the weekly. That's going to be really problematic. Until then, it's okay. It's okay long term, I guess. Just short term, a bit of a pullback there. But then again, it's like, can you be bullish on something when the rest of the market is showing a bit of a different picture? Usually not very wise. John Brooks says, greetings and salutations. Salutations to you as well, Mr. Brooks. Sir, VRA on the daily and weekly, all hopium is welcome. All right, I can give you hopium, man, but hopium is low probability. The hopium is that you got a weekly high or low right here, which would be actually relevant, kind of similar to Bitcoin, right? If you're on a daily, where do you start to confirm local lows here? Back above 5 cents. So the hopium is that you trade back above 5 cents. You confirm a local low right here on the daily and weekly, and this one starts to look pretty damn good again. Until then, where's the doomium? Doomium is with the daily closure below 3.5. About 3.5 cent. Could we use a 4 hour as well? Yeah, about 3.45, something like that on a 4 hour. And then, well, it's new lows time, somewhere around 3 cent even for the next stop. Robert Como says, looking at Ethereum USD hourly, would you consider looking for a scalp long play based on PMAR and BBWP very low reads? Well, BBWP being low does not mean you're gonna. Well, it does mean that a move isn't coming. Okay, so basically the question is, am I looking for a bounce on Ethereum on an hourly, like from right here? No. What I'd be looking for. Hey, where's my Ethereum chart? Must be here. Yeah, where I'd be looking for is somewhere in the blue box territory, because that is where I actually have an edge on the range lows. So if I did see like a spike somewhere down around between about 39.50 and 4,000, probably look for a bit of a scalp long bounce play. Yeah, I would say that, but not right here, because this one's still trending down and there's no sense in catching a falling knife. Now you will very likely have some regular bullish evidence if it does put in a bit of a local low right there, so it'll be okay for a bit of a scalp trade. But again, until Bitcoin actually puts in this spike that we're waiting for right here, which is kind of happening right now, and hopefully reverses, if you want to be bullish, I don't think that there's much sense in front running any sort of plays like that, but that's just me. What? Yep.
That price was 4120 and BBVP was at 3 when I sent the super chat. Is that relevant? It's the previous one.
No, it's not relevant. I don't care about that. Again, that's not the edge on a trade like this, or at least in the way that I'd be looking at it. BBWP being low is not indicative of anything in and of itself. You need like an edge on top of that, and then the BBWP is kind of like a timing indicator in this case. Anyways, hopefully that's helpful though. Aaron M says theta in the medium to long term. Okay, so like a daily and weekly, sure, man. And thank you for that. We can check it out over here. Okay, hourly, same thing, but you're not looking at that. You're looking at daily and weekly. Sorry. Let me just double check. Yeah, daily and weekly. Yeah, this one actually even broke below my range lows from yesterday, so I should be looking for a continuation towards your prior low. Yeah, basically the same thing right here. Somewhere around about 415 to maybe even, if things really get crazy, if you see Bitcoin like dump out below 47, you're probably looking at this one back down towards your 4th of December lows, which is about 3.5 or so, or 365. But not great right there. What do you think's turned around? Back above about 515. I know that you asked about a daily and weekly, but actually the lower term time frames are a little bit more of an easy read right there. And this is it's just lower high after lower high after lower high. This looks like Bitcoin in 2018, actually. All bounces fail right now. Not great. Monthly kind of suggests that you're probably in a bouncy territory, but doesn't mean that it has to happen today. It looks like you want to test some downside here first. Anyways, let's see. That'd actually be a pretty damn cool idea, Mr. Brandon. I have no idea how to set that up, and man, that sounds like a headache, but holy shit, that'd actually be a really, really cool idea and an actual use case for a token. Don't know if that's going to incite the SEC after me, though. Noah97 says, would you choose the coins that have shown strength since Saturday, or is it better risk management to choose a No, laggards are weak. Laggards are weak. They're the ones that are going to get absolutely fucking wrecked if and when Bitcoin shows weakness, which is what we just saw right here, for example, for Theta. This one's been in a long-term downtrend for a while now, fails all of its tries above the prior highs, and this one gets hit a little bit harder than the rest. So no, it's not a game. Like, people think of picking coins as like you want to find the ones that already haven't moved. I mean, that can be kind of true in a sense, but at the same time, if you're thinking about long-term strength, then no, completely the opposite mentality. The weak ones typically only rally at like the end of a cycle, because typically the junk rallies last, and it's usually a sign that the cycle is one, ending, and two, it usually happens like all at once. So that's why people will be like, no, man, they rally super hard, really, really fast. Like, yeah, they do at the end. But if you compare it on a percent base to a percent base from when the cycle starts, it's usually a lot less impressive. For example, Bitcoin was rallying from like basically just straight vertical from like March 2020 to basically March of 2021. Most things were not doing all that well during that time. Noah says Cyrus daily. Okay, not familiar with this one, so I'm just going to type it in here. Okay, on KuCoin. Daily. Hopium is not even back above yesterday's high. It'd be back above 61.25. Doomium is that you got. I'm guessing some hidden bearish divergence present right here. Yes, if this confirms the local high, which probably does on a 4-hour, below about 43.5 cents or so, then I'll be looking for another retest of your lows at 35 to 36 region. Not great though. Another chart that's only ever gone down. So it would not be wise to be the first person to call a reversal here. Reversal talk does not happen until you're back above 61 cents. Until then, all things are just lower highs with continuation of trend in mind there. Sam J. Cass says, hello, sir, new to the channel. Hey, welcome, man, and good to meet you. And thank you. Loving the lack of filter. Yeah, man. That's the whole point of this channel, man. If I had to censor myself, then, well, that loses all fucking fun now, doesn't it? Anyways, you want to look at PWire. I remember this one. This one was a very interesting chart. No, I know that it has more history than this. Maybe Bittrex or KuCoin. Yeah, and this one would actually be considered relatively strong compared to the rest of the market. Problem is, if Bitcoin dumps, is this thing gonna hold it up on its own? No, it's probably unlikely to. Anyways, you are asking about an hourly and a daily. It's quite the spread there. Short term on a daily, it looks like it wants to retest around 24.30 or so. Hourly, I imagine same shit, probably breaking down right now. Indeed it is. Another lower high, crazy. Same shit all the way around the market. Another drive of hidden bearish divergence on the 4-hour RSI as well, and volatility is about to tick up there too. So I'm looking at another run towards your current lows. Somewhere around like $24 or so, and maybe some change. I don't look at this one as good or a bear trap until you actually close a daily doodle back above about 30.25. That would be the hopium here. Until then, short term downside angled. And then I guess the hopium is that you do something like this. You come down here and then pop back above this high. That would look quite good, but again, bit of hopium right there. Let's see. Echo Zien says triple Qs on the weekly. You talking about triple like pro shares? You talking about this one? Triple Q. Let's see. If you're on a weekly, wanted to branch out of crypto. Okay, yeah. So you're talking about this. Okay, sweet. Yeah, yeah. And this is like an actual, this is like actual trading right here. Anyways, wanted to branch out of crypto. Couldn't find a stock with cum moon rocket emojis in the name. Bought index funds in my confusion. I mean, I guess if you're buying this or if you're long on this, you're basically saying that the market's kind of already bottomed here. Monthly's still good for what it's worth. And to be fair, like I'm not really long-term bearish on traditional markets just yet. I mean, we're getting close to, or sorry, that was a quarterly, but even the monthly is still fine as well. Short term, it is downside. England probably does fill the gap somewhere around about 388, 390 or so. But I'm not bearish on this as long as you're closing dailies above 385. You know, a bit of a head and shoulder top right there. You already played out the target from there. Short term, it's pullback similar to NAS and SPY, but I refrain from getting bearish on it as long as you're above about 385 on a daily. Short term, it does very likely pull back into that gap fill though. Cool. Atlas says Ian Casey Douglas. All right, no time frames given. So what? Oh. 4 hours and a 15-minute. All right. It's your money, sir. Another drive of hidden bearish evidence right there, probably testing your current lows. And what do we have? Tell him what he's won, everyone. He's run another bearish redistribution pattern. Your chart looks like absolute shit. Look, okay, here's the hopium. And look, it just means that it has a higher probability to break to the downside than the upside. But in this case, where do you reverse this one? Back above 1385. Above there, things look okay for a bear trap and working its way back up towards upper teens, low 20s or so over time. Until then, I mean, we can go to a 15-minute. Yeah, that's about what you expect. Probably retesting the lows at like 11.5 cents or so. Probably tries for another bounce there. If the bounce brings you back above your last lower high, then that would be good. But again, understand that this is hopium right here. Which is relevant, just, you know, well, above 13.5 cents, good. Below there, bad. And a break below your current lows at 11.40 on a 4-hour closure. And I'm looking for this thing to crumble down somewhere around 10 cents, give or take a little bit. Beck says HTR USD, please. I'm guessing this one's going to be bullish. Oh, it's bullish as fuck, baby. It's bullish as fuck, isn't it? Same thing, basically same chart as before. What do you know? Another bearish redistribution pattern on the lows, motherfucker. Sorry, not you as motherfucker, but this chart as motherfucker. It's a motherfucking eyesore is what it is. Let's see, closing below 97 cents does validate that and very likely targets down to 80 cents. Again, you know, what's the hopium here? Hopium is that you put another spike here alongside Bitcoin, pop back up, take out this high right here, and then boom, probably move back up towards, you know, 140 to 150. It's hopium, yes, but is it possible? Absolutely yes as well. Just probably not my first idea on something like this. You know, you do have many drives of hidden bearish evidence right here. This is kind of like a breakdown setup, as is, well, actually the dailies, you know, again, I always want to call it these bear trappy areas just because they are relevant and they can happen. And typically when things look worse is where they actually do pump, but, you know, has some work to do until then. Let's see. Andre Guerra says Gallet. Yep, we got that one already, so all good there. Bremel Kwan says Krown. I did not mean XLM. I meant Mobi. Mobi is not on TradingView, unfortunately. There is not Stellar Term Exchange hosted on this. So yeah, unfortunately can't pull it up. NY, but I'm guessing based off of Stellar's chart, probably not. Well, fair enough. It might be great. Who knows? NYO says, sir, long-term outlook of ENS. There is no long-term on something that's been around for like a couple months, sir. So maybe could look at like yeah, this is a 4-hour, sir. It's been around for about a month. There is no long-term on this, but for what it's worth, it is not great. But where do things start to turn around for not the long-term, but whatever the long-term is relevant to this thing on a 4-hour would be about 53.5. Above there, things start to look okay for moves back into the mid-60s. Until then, you know, you're already on the lows. Where's your validation of major continuation of the downside below 42.90 on a 4-hour closure? Looking for new lows, sir. But that's a 4-hour, man. There's really not much history there. So if you're thinking the long-term, I do not have a good analysis for you. Andre Guerrera says gods. Okay. Definitely going to be a very good one as well. on FTX. Actually, this would be one of the only charts that we've seen today that actually looks okay. You know what? I apologize, sir. I got a little bit too hubristic there, and this one is not as bad as many of the things that we've seen today. This one's actually okay, especially as long as you're above 485. In short term, it does show another drive towards your prior high. Your prior high of this rally, that is, at around 620 to maybe even six and a quarter. So get bearish on this one below 485, so that is an invalidation, but it's one of the only things that actually looks somewhat acceptable today. Again, very minimum amount of history here, but for what it's worth, at least that's good. Yeah, it's okay. Short term probably trades back down towards 550, but that's not problematic. Only problematic below 485. Cool. Echoes the End says, shout out to non-super chat viewers still around. Can you pick out one of their regular chat requests? Sure. Let's see. We already did Vulcan Forge, Kieran, Abraham. Let's see. Krown, can we do a section on, say, coin of the day? There is no coin of the day, man, because I'm not like paying attention to these ones. And usually the market kind of trades with each other. Hey, what's up, Frank? Frank Ignals, QQs, triple Qs are long-term like Krown and Melsa. Yeah, there we go. Hey, why is Tyler Gongloff still here? I'm gonna ban him myself.
No, don't ban. It's fine.
Fine. Cardano has been done. Yeah, man, we already got that one. I'm trying to find one that we haven't done. I see a lot of people calling Cardano. Yeah, we already did that one. Actually recorded a video on that one too. Supreme Profit says super. So this is Elio's coin. We can pull out this one. It's the only one that I've seen like in the recent vicinity that actually has any history. Not great. Not great right there. Failed at 165, the exact area you don't want to see it fail. Yeah, that's a lower high right there. Testing around your prior lows at 1.25. Not great, man. Not great. I'd probably be looking for another bounce here on the short-term timeframes. You're kind of already there. Maybe one more stab just ever so slightly lower, that being at around 118. Hoping is that you put in a higher low right there on a 4-hour. Could happen, yes. Sorry, let me get rid of this area right here. It's not relevant towards this chart. And if bounce brings you back above 165, that would look great. But below 118 on a 4-hour closure, and this thing probably gets sent back down to a buck even. Again, easy to watch what Bitcoin does within this market. It's going to generally get the full market direction. Yeah, not enough history on a weekly nor a 5-day, but the 5-day is kind of ugly right here. Yeah, the 5-day is starting to break down. If I had to call it right now, I do think that this one actually does trade back down to a buck. Cool. Noah says Zava, Xava. This is a new one for me. All right. Let's see what you got here. Avalanche. I'm guessing it's related. It's actually, well, better chart than most. The hopium is that you're still within a trading range, which, I mean, technically you are, but the doomium is that you're going to break below about 1372 and a half and initiate targets down to about 10 and a half bucks. But for right now, as long as you're kind of trudging away along sideways within this region, it's kind of similar to Ethereum, in fact. So it is on the stronger side. You know, that's good. It's good. Something like this. Test back down in this blue box territory. You know, I'd be looking for bounces first and foremost. It's not hopium because this one actually is okay here, but back above 1875 is where this one starts to look like it's ready for a new ultimate party, which is not saying anything too profound just because, I mean, you're already at all-time highs to begin with, but below 1372, no longer short, medium term good, and looking for moves down towards 10 and a half or so. Let's see. Come rocket tomorrow, says... Hey, Krown, just wanted to shout out before Super Chat. Hey, man, appreciate that. Best game ever, my fucking man, sir. Be careful with your trades. Breathe even. Bear Jesus. XOXOXO. I'm sending you hugs and love as well, sir. Thank you for that, and I salute you, sir. Cryptos 420. Thank you for that, but feel free to have a message as well. Mark Ty says Koval. Another new one for me. Learning all kinds of new tickers today. Circuits of Value. All right. It's on Coinbase, so they list everything nowadays, I guess. It has no history, but you're looking at a half hour and hourly, so that's probably okay. Short term down. Looking for this one to trade back down to 30 cents or so. Sorry, did I say 30 cents? That would not make sense. 15 cents. 15 cents where I'm looking towards. And try for a bounce there, but very, very new chart right here. Short term, it's toppy, but this is a 30-minute after all. Really wouldn't take too much to negate whatever I'm saying. So, you know, going to trade with the rest of the market, but right now that does seem to be the more obvious resolution. Things start to look good again for the short term, back above 2190. Crypto Crash Farmers. Great name. Great fucking name, man. It's so much easier for me to pick the coin at the top and short it. Your opinion, please. You mean like you want to just look at like my opinion of your strategy? look, if it's working for you, man, that's great. That's what you should be doing. You shouldn't care about what I say. If you're just looking for tops on coins right now, I mean, this is, you know, this I wouldn't say it's like exactly at this moment, but it's been your environment for the last month or so. I mean, Bitcoin and basically most cryptos have been straight down with just you know, a few bounces here and there. But you know, this is a question for you, man. Are you happy with your results? If you are, that's great. You know, you should keep on doing what you're doing. And yeah, this would be the environment to be of that, of that strategy. If you're just asking my opinion of it, man, you shouldn't care about my opinion, man. You should be happy with your results, which I imagine probably are going to be pretty damn good for the last month. Absolutely. I don't have anything to add onto it other than that, man. You should always trust yourself over someone like me, man. I'm just here to kind of share my opinion on this market, you know, for better or worse. But at the end of the day, you are your own authority, and when it comes to trading, it has to be that way. So while you can look at me as like a colleague to bounce ideas off of, you should always value your own opinion over whatever the fuck I say to begin with, because you know yourself best, you know your preferences best, and presumably you know your results best as well. So if your results are good doing that, absolutely, man, keep on keeping on. If they're not to your liking, then it's time to go back to the drawing board. Then it's time to go fill out a trade strategy checklist, back test your strategies, then forwards test, and then judge again. But other than that, I think it's time for us to wrap up this video on Bitcoin. And, well, not really much anything new here to be talking about. I like CME chart again. Now, understand that the number is going to be slightly different on spot price action. Going to be a little bit lower price action. But in this case, breaking below 47,000 bucks would be the next sort of trigger for move down towards our next major area here, alongside the 618 Fibonacci retracement, where the 5-day 55 kind of comes in for CME, which is between about 45, a little bit over 45,000 bucks, and perhaps all the way down to 44.5, somewhere around there is where I'd be looking for bounces if you do see that breakdown. Until then, is it possible that Bitcoin puts in a bear trap? Possible, yes, but I mean, this is still just trending down right here, so there's not really any major talks about that. Understand where the pain points are, or where things start to change around from a momentum perspective on Bitcoin. That would be on a daily closure above 49.5. Yeah, 49.5 on basically both CME and spot price action. That would look really good for a potential bear trap coming into next week, but not confirmed. Confirmation on a full-on bear trap, and you know, glory times once again most likely is back up about 52,000 bucks for the short term. Not that I necessarily am looking for that exactly to happen right now, but if I'm calling it right now, Bitcoin, you know, very likely retest around the lows. Hoping is that you spike the lows and then pop back up. Doom is that you close below the lows. And I think I'll leave it right there. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope everyone has a nice and healthy and safe and profitable Friday. Elsa's clapping her fingers in the background like a damn crab claw. I want to wish everyone well, and we'll be back on next Monday for some more live stream action. I'll do some videos over the weekend as well, assuming that we get some fun price action in between there. With that said, take care and see you hopefully very soon.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, fix or pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate. Pause it, list it, send it, burn it, pump it, hack it, quick rename it, take it, take it, lend it, send it, swell it,